Okay, this game is called It Gets So Lonely Here. And I don't know, again, it's one of the other games I found on itch.io. I think it might be on Steam. I'm not too sure actually. But yes, it's another visual novel. I think this one is a lot longer than the other one. That one was like a super short experience. But yeah, let's start. You are running through a forest. It is late at night and the sky is as black as pitch. You know what? I never really understood the word pitch black. Like pitch black. Why is it always pitch black? I don't know. I think that might be me who always wonders about that. Okay. There's nothing to light your way save for the moon's milky glow, but its rays cannot reach you, not properly. The trees which surround you, jutting out of the earth like eerie monuments to a foreign god, are blotting out most of the light. You cannot see where you are going. Even if you had commenced your flight at a more sensible hour, however, with the light of the sun to aid you, it would be of little use. Pitch is like a tar thing from coal. Oh! It's from coal. Yeah, I always just wondered what the hell pitch black meant. You do not know where you are going. Okay. I hope you guys can hear the game. If it's too low, just let me know and I'll adjust it accordingly. Because if it's loud on me, for me, it might be loud for you guys as well. It's good? Okay. You have no map, no route, no plan. You're running like a frightened animal, anxious and nervy, with no destination in mind. You have no desire as you run, save to escape. You cannot let yourself be caught. If that were to happen, you are certain that you would be ruined. You have no choice, therefore, but to keep going on and on and on, though your feet are screaming at you for mercy. You ever have those kind of dreams where it's like, for some reason you're just running, you're always running, you kind of like know you're being chased at the same time, but whether or not you know that you're being chased, you just run anyway. And it's always through like weird like places you kind of in your past, like, you know, your old elementary school, or like places you've been before, or like, you know, dark forests that you've never been in before. Yeah, like I sometimes I wonder like why what is up with like chase dreams? What is up with like running dreams? It's like even if you want to stop, you just can't stop no matter what. And it's always so weird for me. Sometimes I would end up stopping and then it would be like my dreams are weird. My dreams are like super fucking weird. Time has begun to blend together. It has lost all meaning. Primitive urge to flee from predators? Maybe. But then again, it's always like I always feel like it's other humans chasing me. So it just feels weird to be chased by other people. It's like you're panicking at the same time, but you don't really know why they're chasing you or what, you know? Dream cardio. Please, I wish I could just lose weight from like running in my dreams. Something sharp snacks at the hem of your skirt, but you do not have the luxury to pause and examine what has happened. Instead, you tug. Heading to the beach, have a great stream. Okay, bye Aqua! Enjoy the beach! Bye-bye! Your skirt tears, the sound splitting through the forest, and you stumble forwards to the shocked gasp. God damn it, Aqua, with the honk again. You are free, but at what cost? Your skirt has been irrevocably damaged. How do you say that word? Irrevocably damaged. Why did I say irrevocably? Irrevocably. Bop, 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 bop. Okay. It might be too late to worry about such trivial matters now, though. If you do not start running again, and soon, she will catch you. Then your life will be over. You do not know if she is still following you, but you do not want to risk looking over your shoulder. If you were to see her, silhouetted beneath a tree, looking at you with that sickly sweet smile which once ensnared you, you would lose what little nerve you possess. Your legs would lock up, and your blood would freeze in your veins. Then you would crumple. Hi, Reva! Hi! Finally. It's been a while. How you doing? After 69 for 20 years. For real, where have you been, man? It's been thousands and thousands of years. You would fall, but you would not hit the ground. She would be there to catch you. Did she not promise, when you made that contract, that you would never be alone? You would like to take back that silly wish of yours, but it is too late for that. It is too late for a lot of things. All you can do is run. Oh shit, man, I am good. I am good. Right now we're playing. It gets so lonely here. I think that's what the game is. Good to see you again after all of the work. Yeah! I hope you're more free now, because I would love to play games with you again. We definitely should play games again. I don't know what though, but we should. Is it a visual novel? Yes, it is a visual novel. I think this one might be... maybe possibly... Girls Love? Or Yuri? I think that's what I saw from like the screenshots anyway. But it's also horror. Run and run and run while icy fog swirls about your feet. It is cool enough to sap the heat from your body, and you shudder from it. It feels as though you are drowning. It feels as though you are being buried alive. Your knees and your shins, meanwhile, are bleeding. You cannot endure much more of this, but if you value your own life, you must. Oh god, you guys. Oh no, I am in the shackles of being a wage slave. Yes, I love seeing girls kissing. Yuri is pretty scary, right? I think there was another visual novel, but that one was BL, and it also interested me a lot. I just don't know if I have the time for that one. But yeah, it's called Forgive My Desires, Father. I think that's what it was called. So that might be something I might play. I don't know if it's today, but you know, it's something I'm interested in. But yes, I also love seeing girls kissing. You run and you run and you run until at long last you reach a fork in the road. There are 3 paths which split off through the forest. Well, 4 if you count the path down which you came. You cannot exactly double back on yourself, though not when you have put so much effort into running forwards. You can only press on. The 3 paths are signposted, which is something of a strange sight given you are so deep in the forest. Dark though it might be, you have grown accustomed to the shadows. You can just about pick out the writing on this old dilapidated signpost, curved and slanted though it is. Your fate, if you will forgive me for sounding cliché, is in your hands. Now, I wonder, which path will you take? It's time. But they won't let me save. Are you kidding me? I should have saved. Oh, okay, shit. Okay, 3 options. 3 options. There's 3 options. Do we go to the shore, to the village, or to the castle? Redeem, save your progress. I can't save my progress. It's. I should have saved. I didn't know they were giving us a choice straight away. Seen Slay the Princess? Oh yeah, I have seen Slay the Princess. You would probably like it. I'm interested in it. It's just that there's so many endings I heard, so it's a little bit daunting. It's one of the games that I think needs like a real dedicated like stream to it. But I will definitely check it out. But yeah, do you go to the shore, to the village, or the castle? Village or the castle? I mean, I don't know why you would go to the castle exactly. The shore, I think, would just lead you to nowhere. I mean, the village is a good place to start, but then again, it's like... choices, man! Choices! And which way do I go? Or should I just like put it up to a vote, like a poll? Or maybe not. That might be too fast. That might take a while. So I'm very interested in the castle though. So maybe let's go to the castle. Might meet people in the village. Village people, if you will. Village people? Yeah, I think village kind of like makes sense if you're running from someone, apparently, as whatever our protagonist is doing right now. So should we just go to the village then? Also, I will have to say that this game is like super pretty. At least like the UI for it. You know what? Let's go to the village. Why not? So, you want to go to the village? Good idea. Let's see what further trials await you there. This night is far from over, as much as you might wish it was, and there's still much more and more to discover. I wonder what will happen next. You follow the path which leads to the village, supporting yourself on weary, aching limbs which feel ready at a moment's notice to snap at the knee beneath the burden of your weight. The soles of your feet are screaming at you. You need to lie down, and quickly. Only hope as you continue to run that you will find a suitable residence in which to rest at the village. You do not know what will await you at the village, but you have visions as you run of a quaint, scenic settlement, all thatched cottages with sloping roofs. Surely there will be a kindly peasant who will be willing to put up a young runaway for a few nights. You can imagine, too, the face of this kindly peasant from the fairy tales you read in abundance as a small child. Here's the thing. You should never really trust strangers. Never trust strangers. No matter how nice they are. At the very least, I don't know, like... Don't trust strangers, like... too readily, you know? Oh, hello there! Welcome! Hi! Welcome to my stream. How are you doing? I'm Yugiri Otome. We are playing horror visual novel game. She will be broad-shouldered and ruddy-faced with dull brown hair and crown beneath a cap. Wait, hold on. Is that safe? Oh, that is safe. Okay. I mean, I guess I'll save here, even though I think it's too late. We can trust our streamer though, right? I mean, I can't promise I won't eat you guys though. Your Ava is so pretty. Thank you very much. I made the reveal like just last stream, so I'm very happy that a lot of people have been liking my VTuber model. But thank you. Your arms will be straight. Why are you bonking me? God damn it! Her arms will be sturdy from many years of washing clothes and milking cows, but she will be kind to you and compassionate, just like a mother. You do not know what mothers are like. You hardly ever spoke to yours. You are only guessing. You are not a complete fool, however, despite your tendency to daydream, and you do have a few reservations. Peasants do not, as you know from your voracious reading, have much money, nor do they have much food. What the fuck are you actually, Protag? Are you like some rich noble or something who ran away? What are you exactly? Like, they're calling them peasants. Calmer, I think, is a lot better than peasants. And then calling them like basically like poor or like starving poor peasants. Like, oh my god. It might be hard to convince a resident of the village, even the kindly washerwoman of your fantasies, to take in a complete stranger. Still, you must try. That is all you can do, really. So you run to the village. It takes some time before you finally emerge from the woods, but finally, you manage it. How much time, you ask? I cannot answer that. Did I not say that time had begun to lose all its meaning? I don't know, she could be running for like 30 minutes. The forest is behind you now, at least, and all the awful nightmares which dwelt within it. It is still cold though, and still foggy. It is still dark too. The sun has yet to rise. You can see the moon more clearly now, though, as it hangs above your head, round as any pearl or orb or a crystal ball. The moonlight shines down upon the village, nestled among the hills like a diorama. Hope anew bubbles within you. You have finally made it. Surely not. But your salvation awaits you? You follow the winding dirt path to the village, looking this way and that. But your hope, such a precious, fragile thing, soon begins to fade. The village up close does not look half as welcoming as you imagine. I mean, it's a random village that you stumbled upon. You really think like all villages are like super pretty or some shit? There are cottages, yes, but they are in a state of disrepair. There are holes in the roofs and holes in the windows. Most of the doors are tightly shut, but others are gaping open. The kitchens beyond them even darker than the night sky which shrouds you. There are no lights in any of the windows, and neither can you see any people, insomniacs like you, at them. You cannot hear anything either, beyond the sound of your own footsteps and that low, mournful sighing of the wind. The village is quite quiet, eerily so. I saw you on Reddit. How are you? Hi, hello, welcome. I saw you follow me on Twitter as well. Thank you so much for the follow. Yeah. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I ate before I stream, so I'm feeling full, and I do have a drink with me. So there's that. And right now we're playing a horror visual novel. But yeah, how are you doing? Nice to meet you. I'm Yugiri Otome. To all the new people here, you can just call me Otome. Yeah, you can just call me Otome. Yeah. But really, it really is nice to meet all you new people. I'm very excited to like stream more. You're living your best life. Yes, I am living my best life right now. Or Oats. Do not call me Oats. No one calls me Oats. Not even you, Atalis. It is immediately obvious, even to a naive girl such as yourself, that something terrible must have befallen this village. You know before you try your luck at one of the houses that nobody will answer you. There will be no kindly, red-armed washerwoman to welcome you here, no matter how much you wish for it. But that does not stop you from wishing regardless. Your knuckles strapped smartly against the wooden door, your efforts soon prove, however, to be in vain. There is nobody here to hear your entreaties. How very sad. You try another door, then another, but the result is the same, regardless of how many doors you rap upon. Nobody answers you. How could they? There's nobody there. Once again, you have found yourself all alone. At least you have found some dwellings in which you can rest your weary head. Will you utilize one of these cottages for your purposes? Nobody's here. You might as well. But no, an abandoned cottage is not what you were looking for. You would far rather have companionship, would you not? Bravely, you swallow your tears. You wipe your eyes with the back of your arm in a well-practiced motion, then inhale. You square your shoulders. How about Otis? I think Otis is like a completely different name already. Oh my god. I'm calling you Rito now. Why are you calling me Rito? How? That is completely far from Yugiri Otome. God damn it, you guys. What? Is this really a reflection of me now? Now, like, is my chat just that chaotic? Just because I'm chaotic, so everyone's chaotic? Is this it? Yuto. That is also a completely different name. And you keep on going. Surely the village cannot be completely deserted. There must be one person here at the very least who can help you. That is what you are thinking as you resume your search. You flit from cottage to cottage with precious little to show for your determination, until you make yet another discovery. Okay, hear me out. Stink. God damn it! You guys are the stinky ones, okay? You guys are the stinky ones. It is true. Oh my god. Oh my god. What am I now? Like a plush doll? Am I a doll from Build-A-Bear? Is that me now? Am I from Build-A-Bear? Yugi. Am I a deck of cards now? Am I Yu-Gi-Oh? Am I I better be the strongest card then if I'm gonna be called Yu-Gi-Oh! OT. Like, what is that? Am I a dog now? My god, fucking damn it, you guys. This village, with its squat thatched cottages bathed in the moon's glow, has a church. Well, of course it has a church. The villagers who once dwelt here were not godless heathens. Not that their faith did them all that much good in the end. Still, the sight of the church soothes your overtaxed heart. You were so focused on your fantasies of a kindly washerwoman taking you in, you do not pause to entertain the fancy of a kindly nun doing much the same. All hope is not lost. You approach the church, which seems to tower over you despite it being so humble. The church is a small one, but it is stout and sturdy. It must be, for it has withstood centuries, forever standing sentinel on this hill, like a relic from a bygone era. The church does not have any stained glass windows, but it does not need them. Even without more luxurious trappings, the church still exudes an aura of dignified solemnity. Okay, yeah, I'm wondering, what is our protag exactly? Are they like some rich girl who ran away from home or something? Because the way they talk and the way they talk about, I don't know, like other people in certain things, it just gives me the impression like this is some rich girl, again possibly a noble. And they seem like kind of sheltered in a way. Otome the pot of greed. You're so picky. What do you mean I'm so picky? Meme. What do you mean I'm so picky? What do you mean a meme? And I'm the pot of greed now? Okay, I like it here, so I have to go, but I'll leave you alone. Okay, thank you so much for coming by. I do try to stream often, so you know. Hopefully you'll be able to catch my streams more. But thank you so much for coming by, and thank you again so much for the follow. God damn it. Thank you. Sorry, I don't have any bots though. I probably should set up bots. I think that's probably one of my goals this year. Okay. Oh, but yeah, bye-bye! The stone building is fringed by a sizable graveyard, one which occupies the rest of the hilltop, but some of its sloping sides. The graves, which have been planted by generations of wardens, are hewn? Hewn? What is that word? Hewn? Is that how you pronounce it? I've never seen that word before. From a similar stone to that which the church's walls are made of. Some of the gravestones are shaped like lozenges, while others are shaped like crosses. A handful of headstones are even shaped like angels, though these are few and far between. There are very few people in a village such as this one who can afford such luxurious final resting places. You look at the tombstones with an almost childlike curiosity, forgetting in your examination the visceral heart-rending fear which gripped you as you ran through the forest. Okay, yeah, you were running from someone. Why are you taking your time to look at all the graves now? Means carved? Oh, to be cut from a larger material. Oh, okay. Oh, I learn something new every day. Okay, hewn, to be cut from a larger material means carved. Okay, I see. So that's what it means. At least I have a child that is apparently smarter than me, so... I am a dumbass. I am a certified dumbass. You are out of the woods now, and you have, subconsciously, already begun to relax. You try to read the names hewn into the myriad tombstones, but it is dark and you are tired, and some of these graves are very, very old indeed. You strain your eyes, but you do not have much luck in this endeavor. Oh well. Such superfluous details are not important. Okay, I need to know who the game developer is, because these are very like big words right now. Superfluous. You eventually tire of examining the graves and turn. This graveyard is an expansive one, unusually so given the village itself is so small. How can it boast so many corpses? And there's much to explore. You walk about the perimeter of the church, casting your gaze first here, then there, then everywhere, consumed as you are by your immense all-encompassing curiosity. And as you do, you see her. She looks like an ordinary girl, small and scrawny, just like yourself. She is much, much more than her unremarkable appearance might suggest. Probably written by AI. I mean, I hope not, at least. For some moments, you observe her, hiding all the while in the shadow cast by the church, like a furtive lizard clinging against a rocky edifice to shroud itself from the sun. There's no sunlight here, though. There's only the night sky, and the stars, and the moon. Beneath the moon's light, a silvery implement the girl is clutching shimmers. It takes you a few moments to see what it is that the girl is clutching in her hands. It isn't until you see her manipulate it, its sharp edge biting into the earth, that you understand. It is a shovel. The girl is standing in an isolated corner of the churchyard late at night, and she is digging a grave. Well, you suppose she could always be digging a hole for the sake of it, but her work seems much too precise for this to be the result of mere whimsy. It is hard for you to see her face, given the distance between the pair of you, but her posture is one that speaks of supreme concentration. She moves slowly, mechanically, like a woman on a mission, driving the end of her shovel into the earth over and over. Her motions are regular enough to be repetitive. There's something hypnotic, almost in the manner in which she attends this task. It's just ye old language. Ye old language! Should you risk interrupting her? Do you dare? Yet the feeling she would not appreciate it. The shovel in her hands, meanwhile, is rather hefty. If she wished it, she could cause you no small amount of damage with it. I feel like that... This... I feel like this shovel is a little bit weird and broken, because look at here. It goes straight down to her hand, and then veers, and then twists here. It's not good enough for you. Needs more yeehaws. You want me to yeehaw now? Yeehaw! Cold anxiety makes your skin prickle. You do not know if you should risk speaking to her when she, in her dark cloak, with her shovel, looks so very strange. Well, what do you have left to lose? You have come this far. It would be folly to turn back now. It is with this thought in your mind that you decide to approach the strange girl. Your footsteps are quiet. You have grown accustomed to slinking around like a cat, but they are not quiet enough. The girl's senses must be finely tuned, because she blinks. Then she turns. Your eyes meet, and once they do, you feel your breath catch in your throat. You did not have a clear view of the girl before, concealed as you were in the shadows, but now, she looking at you, you can tell that she is pretty. Oh, really? That's what you noticed straight away? She's digging a grave, you know. Her skin is very smooth, and her hair, though obscured by a dark hood, is very fair. Her eyes, meanwhile, are a clear, cool blue like ice. Those eyes of hers, which are large with unease, are fringed with very long, fair eyelashes. Don't pretend like you wouldn't do. Shut up. Shut up. I mean, I do appreciate girls, but come on. She is simply too perfect to belong to this world. Perhaps she is some kind of vision, a waking dream, a hallucination? But no, she is none of those things. The shovel she is clutching in her hands looks solid enough, its pointed tip glittering wickedly in the moonlight. You steel yourself, expecting perhaps some sort of outburst. But the tension soon drains from the girl's slender shoulders. Her fingers, which once were gripping the handle of her shovel tightly, relax. Her lips curve upwards at the edges. Okay, so she's friendly. She's friendly. That's good. She is smiling, and what a smile it is. It is transformative. Okay? When she smiles, she looks radiant. Angelic, almost. Hers is a smile that is so suffused with light that your eyes begin to prickle from it. You are so relieved, you almost feel as if you could cry. You know you're still being chased, right? You're running through a forest being chased. What, are you sure you have the time to be thinking about a pretty girl's smile? I mean, like, she is pretty, but like, come on, Protag. It would not be the first time you have wept during this night, and neither would it be too surprising if you did. You have been through a lot. You must be exhausted. The girl holding the shovel seems to realize this because she bridges the distance between you cautiously, as one might approach a skittish cat. Then she says, in a rough voice which does not match her dainty appearance, "Well, she does live in a rural village. What were you expecting?" "Oh, it's so good to see another person. I was afraid I was the only person left alive. The only one in the whole world. Okay, what is happening in their world? Now, this is quite the effusive greeting. Her introductory speech is riddled with exclamation marks. She's rather more personable than her apparel would make one suggest. You, a well-bred young lady, cannot help but feel overwhelmed. It's your turn now to be on your guard. Anxiously, you observe the girl with the shovel, and you ask her what she means. What happened? Oh, do you not know? There's an awful lot you do not know. So much, in fact, it would fill a whole encyclopedia. Yes, always. Oh my god. No, a whole library. You shake your head, ashamed at your ignorance, and the girl frowns. You mustn't be from around these parts. I guess I should have known. This village is a small one, and everybody knows everybody else. The girl's expression falls. At least, they used to, back when there were still people to know. That ain't the case now, though. Not after the plague. The plague? Not after the plague? There was a plague? Is it safe to be here now? Is the plague infectious? Or is it like just one of those things where it's like, you know, someone dies and that's it? Now that's worrisome. There was a plague? That would certainly explain why the village, when you walk through it, was so quiet. Did everybody else succumb to this mysterious illness? That's right. It's just me here now. I've not seen another human being in a long, long time. It gets so lonely here. There's the child drop. It gets so lonely here. Now, that is an interesting turn of phrase. It catches inside your head like a burr. Have you heard it before? You do not have much time to ponder this, however, because the girl takes a step towards you. Oh, well, where are my manners? They must have gone rusty after being on my own for so long. My apologies, miss. You look like you've come a long way. You said you were a traveler, yes? And your hands are very cold, just like ice. She said the thing! She said the thing in the thing with the game thing. Would you like to come inside? Maybe have something warm to eat and to drink? My home's small, I'm afraid. My food ain't nothing fancy, but I'd be more willing to share. It's not every day another girl stops by, especially not one as pretty as herself. I'm feeling very blessed. The girl laughs, a carefree, airy sort of laugh, which does not match your initial impression of her. You thought when you saw her among the graves that she would be more distant, somehow, and more mysterious. Perhaps you are mixing her up with somebody else. You are still unsure if you can trust this girl, but her invitation is an appealing one. It is much more appealing, certainly, than spending the night outdoors in the cold, kipping on the graves. What are you, a romantic poet? I don't know, man. I don't know this protag. Please, you make a show of pondering the girl's invitation, at the very least. You do not want to appear too eager. But your acquiescence is, alas, an inevitability. God, there's so many long words just in this sentence alone. Why would you ever refuse her? She is the first friendly face you have seen all night. Without her, you would be all alone. Your hostess leads you to a small, humble home located but a stone's throw away from the church, built in the shadows of a twisted, towering sycamore. The girl's home is in such a state it seems a folly to even call it a home. Hovel would, to you, be the more appropriate descriptor. But when your hostess leads you inside, her eyes alive, and she says, "Here we are! Home sweet home!" You don't have the heart to tell her that you don't find her home very homey or very sweet. That would be incredibly rude. I mean, come on, man! Tough words, right? But come on, man! She's giving you a place to stay. How are you being this rude and ungrateful? Come on! You just ran from someone through a forest for God knows how long, and you're gonna complain? To the first person that finally shows you a bit of kindness? Like, come on, man. I don't know who this protag is, but they sound pompous as shit. Maybe you deserve to get chased by someone. I don't know. At this point, you better give me some redeeming qualities, man. As a guest, you ought to be more appreciative. Half-heartedly, you look around your newfound surroundings. The ceiling is supported by a wooden joist and is perilously low. Not so much so that you are in danger of bumping your head, but just enough to feel catastrophic. Not catastrophic. Why did I read as catastrophic? Claustrophobic. Do you think chats are reflections of their stream? Oh god. But just enough to feel claustrophobic. Why did I read it the other way? Oh my god. There is a fire in the corner, though it is not consigned to a grate. The fire instead is blazing in the open. A circle of logs set alight like a scene from a witch's kitchen. Above the fire hangs a silvery pot, suspended from one of the wooden eaves. Other objects of interest are hung from the eaves. Iron implements you take to be cooking utensils, various herbs, and strips of meat left to cure. The smell of cooking fills the air, mingled with the sharp, sour scent of unwashed bodies. How, you wonder, does your hostess clean herself? You do not see a bathtub anywhere. What do you mean you do not see a bathtub anywhere? Do you think back then normal people just had bathtubs around? No! Most people probably just like bathe in a river or something, or like by a well. Like this protag sounds super sheltered. Perhaps she does not possess one. The girl's home is unremarkable in every regard, but it is, you suppose, better than nothing. At least there is a roof over your head and food to put in your belly. She has very interesting clothing though. Like she casually just has like a skeleton design on her sleeves. The girl looks to the pot, suspended over the fire, which she gives a stir with a ladle. Then she brings the ladle to her lips to taste whatever concoction she has brewing within it. You can only hope that she is not like the weird sisters from that famous play, brewing a broth with fenny snake fillets. Yes, I think this is just about done, the girl says to nobody in particular. Imagine the smell. Imagine the smell. I mean, I think back then not a lot of people bathe as often. So I would imagine like most villagers, like common villagers, they smell. They have a smell to them. Although I think that's also true for like nobles as well. Because you know, back then there aren't such things as like soap or some shit. So I think most of their scents come from flowers and stuff. So I would imagine most people back then just smelled so badly. And you just have to live with it. You need to set up 7 TV and other emote stuff. Yeah, I probably should. There are a lot of things I do need to change with my channel, like the redeems as well. I need to like change it up again. Because back when I first set up my channel point redeems, they were just mainly like me messing around and thinking what I could add back then. We need to sniff. Why you need? Well, don't sniff me. Do you want something? It looks as though you've come quite a long way, and you must be hungry. These words are like music to your ears, even more divine than the trumpets of God's most loyal angels. You are so hungry, you could eat a horse. Not that there are any horses in the immediate vicinity. You express your interest to your hostess, who smiles in response. I thought you'd like the sound of that. Just give me a few moments. The hostess retrieves 2 earthenware bowls from a cupboard with rickety hinges, into which she pours 2 hefty helpings of whatever it is she is cooking. This she serves with bread, which is so hefty it could be used as a murder weapon. What is it? Is it like a hard roll? It's not much, I'm afraid. It's only soup and bread. It should take the edge off your appetite, though. You thank your hostess for her hospitality, your stomach rumbling all the while. The soup does not look like anything you would typically consume, but the soup's poor presentation does not dissuade you. It is true enough that people eat first with their eyes, but when one is hungry enough, one becomes obliging enough to eat almost anything. It's an important emote. I'll definitely be thinking more about emotes and stuff. I like her already. Yeah, she's very sweet. Unfortunately, our pro tag, not as much. Not as much. Why else do you think that people, when stranded upon desert islands, will resort to cannibalism? Why was that your first thought? Cannibalism? What is wrong with our protag? Humans are creatures of necessity. You like to wrap yourselves up in pretensions, but in actuality, you are not much better than animals. You are so hungry, your stomach is achingly empty, that you certainly descend upon your food like an animal. Your teeth glint, your incisors gleam, and soon you have consumed all that your hostess has offered you. Your hostess watches you while you eat, and she giggles once you have finished. Did you enjoy that? Oh. You catch your hostess's gaze, suddenly abashed. You are so hungry you fail to account for her judgment. Now you have some food in your belly though, and you have been suitably warmed. Your old self-consciousness is returning. Did you not make a fool out of yourself? You demur shyly, looking at your lap, fearful all the while of what your hostess might think of you. Didn't your skirt rip as well? Shouldn't you change your skirt if you can? Are you not into Hime types? I don't know if I'm into like princess types, if I'm being honest. I mean, I guess it depends. Who knows? You do not want her to take against you. Fortunately for you, however, and for your fragile ego, your hostess is not the judgmental sort. She's not like the girls you grew up with. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's nice to see my food being appreciated so heartily. I know I'm not the best, but I've been practicing for a long while. I used to cook for my father all the time, you see. This remark catches your attention. Quizzically, you look at your hostess, your abashment over your animalistic eating habits suspended. What happened to her father? It seems a grim thing to contemplate after having eaten, but... Did your hostess mention something about a plague? Yes, your hostess says, her voice soft now and serious. That's right, there was a plague. One of the villagers. What of her father? They're all gone now. Gone? Yes. You see, your hostess rearranges herself upon her chair, one slender leg folded over the other. She doesn't realize she is a Hime type. What do you mean what? I'm a Hime type. What? What's happening? What's happening here? Then she begins her tale in earnest. My family has a history. We've lived here for centuries by the church, so as we could tend to the graveyard. Ah, so this abode is centuries old then. It would certainly explain the dirt. My father used to prepare bodies for burial, back when he was alive. He built the coffins, and he dug the graves, and he lowered the coffins into the dirt. I know it might sound like an awful job, but somebody's gotta do it. There's no sense averting our eyes from death. No one happens to the best of us. It's a noble profession, one that's been handed down in our family for generations. My father's father was a gravedigger, and so was my father's father's father, and my father's 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 father. Oh my god, there are so many fathers. Digging graves is in our blood. It's who we are. My. That was a surprisingly pretty speech, coming from a girl who lives in the countryside. A girl who is without much in the way of education. Are you kidding me? Why are you judging her education all of a sudden? Oh my god! It's hard for people back then to get to go into schools, okay? Why are you judging her? Back me up, guys. Oh no. Oh no. It is apparent, just to listen to her, and the way she slurs her syllables together, that she has never had any elocution lessons, not like you. There's a determination, however, to her, and a pride in her genealogy which gives her a respectable aura. You cannot help but be impressed. So, as her hostess, does that make her one in a long line of gravediggers? Yes, your hostess, the gravedigger says. That's about right, though I was never supposed to be a gravedigger myself. It's not a woman's profession. That's what everybody says. My father didn't mind that though. He taught me everything he knew, and then some. I might be a woman, but I have plenty of upper body strength. I can dig a grave just as well as my father could, without breaking a sweat. To the despair of my mother up in heaven, I'm sure. I'm sure if she were still alive, she'd rather I focus on more feminine pursuits, like basket weaving or sewing, to better attract a suitor. Not that that would do much good now. There's nobody around here who'd court me, not for miles and miles. And what happened to her mother? She died when I was very young, during childbirth. I was only 5 years old. Oh, well, you can relate to her at least, upon this point. Your parents are not dead, at least not as far as you were aware. We have not seen them in an awfully long time. They sent you away as soon as you were old enough, and that they never once bothered to check up on you. Sent you away where? To a finishing school or something? Did you go to a boarding school for girls? Is that what's happening? For many years, there have been no letters, nor any visits. You offered the gravedigger your condolences. You do not know if they will help, but you feel like you cannot say nothing. That would seem heartless. The gravedigger, however, does not seem too upset by this turn of events, because she smiles, albeit somberly. It's alright. It was ages ago. I don't remember her too well, and I've never really had the luxury of sitting around feeling sorry for myself. I had too much work to do. Around the house, you ask? That too. I was the oldest child, so it was my job, after my mother died, to manage the sweeping and the cooking. Oh, and looking after all my siblings too. You blink, intrigued, then glance about your hostess's humble lodgings. You do not see any siblings in the immediate vicinity. Where could they be? The gravedigger must have noticed your roving eyes. You're not exactly being subtle, because she shakes her head. I had siblings. 2 younger brothers. They're both gone now. Oh. You should have known. You apologize to the gravedigger for your lack of tact, but she does not seem upset by this faux pas. Okay, so there's a plague in the village. It wiped the whole village entirely. Apparently. She says she had brothers. 2 brothers. And before, our protac was talking about cannibalism. So, did the brothers die from the plague, or did they die for other reasons? And that is bringing my suspicion levels very up high now with her. You apologize to the gravedigger for your lack of tact, but she does not seem upset by this faux pas. Don't apologize. It's not your fault. My brothers weren't long for this world anyway. The youngest... Okay, here's the explanation. Never mind then. The youngest, he died when he was still a babe. And the oldest, he died before he reached double digits. I was upset about it at the time, of course. But I've come to terms with it. Life's a fleeting thing in this wicked old world. That's something you learn in the street. Digging graves, I mean. I've dug graves for the elderly and the infirm. I've also dug graves for young babes still in their swaddling clothes. That's the nature of death. It comes for all of us in the end. No matter how old we are, no matter how much money we have, no matter how good or bad we've been. It's the great equalizer. Or so I've heard. And don't worry about... What do you mean, don't worry about it? A chill creeps down your spine as you listen to your hostess's speech. She's not wrong, but the inherent mortality of all humankind is not something you wish to contemplate. It is too disturbing. For the longest of times, my family was a small one. It was just my father and me, but that was fine. It was how I liked it. I was very happy, even if our lives weren't the best. I've never had any fancy clothes to wear, and we can't dine on the finest of foods. In the grand scheme of things, we ain't anything that special, but I've always felt otherwise. I thought that I was blessed. He knew hardship, of course, and famine, but that's just the way life is around here. When food supplies were low, we always helped out one another out. I had my father. I also had the rest of the village. We all looked after one another, and things always worked out in the end. At least, they did. Until the plague happened. Yes, she had mentioned the plague. I had been wondering when she was going to return to that topic. You suppose that the plague is the reason that the village, as you traversed it, was so very empty? You'd suppose right. The plague tore right through the village. I don't remember when. It feels like it was a while ago. But maybe it wasn't all that long after all. It feels like I've been on my own for centuries, but Your hostess's eyes begin to cloud over. She looks as though she is entrenched within her own memories. What could she be remembering? You've never seen a plague before, though you have heard of them in your history lessons. Your history professor was quite enthusiastic about the subject. She talked about piles of dead bodies stacked up on the streets and stacked up in the wooden carts come to take them away, with no shortage of aplomb. She was a strange woman, your history professor. The plague came on very suddenly. There was no warning. One day, everyone was fine, and the next, they were all dead. It is with no small amount of anxiety that you eye the gravedigger. Then you ask, worriedly, surely they could not all have died? Is that not an exaggeration? Oh, if only. I wish I was exaggerating, but it's the truth, honest to God. The people in the village died, one after another. It's like that. I saw what the plague does to people firsthand. My father was one of the first people who caught it. I think one of the bodies which came through that we buried must have had it. Not that I know for certain, I'm just guessing still. My father didn't have an easy time of it. His skin turned all grey and clammy, and he complained of a horrible fever. There were night sweats and stomach cramps. And then there were the boils. The boils? Pustules. They were the size of eggs and they were full of pus. When they burst, it stunk. The whole house was full of it, the stink of death. The wise woman of the village came to see if she could be any use, but it was no good. My father was too far gone already. She took one look at him, lying on his deathbed, and she shook her head. She said she didn't want to get any closer. I can't say I blame her. It was a ghastly sight. I didn't appreciate it at the time, though. I felt like she was turning her back on us. I wished her ill. I remember that after she left. Until a few days passed and she fell sick too. Then I felt bad for cursing her. I couldn't help but worry if it was all my fault. It's silly, I know, but... Ew. Yeah, they went really into graphic there describing about pus and death and shit. The gravedigger closes her eyes. She seems to squeeze her lids together until her lashes melt like flecks of fallen snow. Her shoulders, which are very slender, are shaking. She looks as though she might at any moment fall apart. It wasn't long after that that the rest of the village fell ill. They all had the same symptoms as my father. The clammy skin, and the fever, and the boils. The boils grew, and then they burst. And then they died in screaming, stinking agony. My father died too, only 3 days after he fell ill. But I think even that was 3 days too many. I didn't want my father to die, of course. I did everything I could to help him. But it was all pointless. None of my herbal salves had any impact. I couldn't make a blind bit of difference. All I did was stand about his bedside, telling him it'd be alright, until his eyes sank into his skull like 2 black stones and his mouth dried out. During that last day before he died, he might have been a corpse already. He didn't look at me, he didn't speak to me, he just lay in his bed with his eyes closed, groaning. I never wished any ill on my father before, but during those moments The gravedigger squeezes her hands, which are resting upon her black-clad lap, into fists. She trembles. Then in a voice throbbing with awful emotion, she says, I wish he just died. Well, based on her anecdote, it does not sound like she had overly long to wait. Where is the empathy with this protag? She was running from someone, chased because someone was apparently chasing her, and she's like, I don't know this protag, man. I wonder if she would consider that a silver lining? No, perhaps not. The gravedigger is still shaking. She will not cry, will she? You hope not. Awkwardly, you look at the gravedigger. You are not sure how to soothe her, but you know you must make some sort of an effort, even if it is a token one. You shift upon your chair, which feels very cold and hard beneath your thighs. And you say very softly that you are sorry. It is not much, but it is all you can think of saying. You had thought initially that your situation was comparable to that of the gravedigger, but now you can see that this is not the case. Your suffering has far outstripped your own. Not that suffering is a competition, of course. Your apology feels inadequate to your ears, largely because it is, but the gravedigger seems not to mind it. She is a very big heart, that girl, to smile at you so, no matter how foolish you might be. Do you really deserve such kindness? Oh, again with the apologies. It's alright. Like I said, you didn't cause any of this. I'm not upset at you. I'm just recounting what happened is all. I do wonder though, why I never fell sick myself. I thought I was going to die, so I'd already prepared for the Reaper to come and take me away. But maybe he wasn't interested. Maybe he already satiated his appetite on all the others. That, or maybe he thought he'd have to leave me alive for practicality's sake. With my father gone, who else would tend to the dead? I was the only person left by the end of it all, so I had to bury the people in the village. They're all resting peacefully now, under the earth, where the plague can't reach them. On the one hand, I'm happy for them. They were able to escape from all their suffering. When I think about all the people I've lost, though... The gravedigger tenses. Then she sniffs. When I think about the kindly washerwomen who helped me scrub the mud and the dirt from my clothes... Aha! So this village did have its fair share of washerwomen after all. It would seem your earlier insistence upon this particular point was not without merit. Why are you focused on the washerwomen? Why? What is up with you, Protag? She's opening your heart out about the loss she's had with her village, with her family, and you're here thinking like, oh, I was right about the washerwomen. What the fuck are you? Are you Empress Teresa or something? And the handsome young farmhands who used to flirt with me. The priest who preached at the church, who told us wonderful tales of paradise, and the children who would skip stones at on the lake and play hopscotch in the streets. My girl has a type and she's dedicated to it. I don't know if it's dedicated or not. I can't help but feel so lonely. The gravedigger's eyes begin to shine once she has finished her address. With tears, but she does not let them fall. She is being very brave. Much more so than you are. Anxiously, you extend a hand towards her, meaning to... What? Give her a hug? You do not know her well enough. At her head? That would be infantilizing. Squeeze her hand? Perhaps that could be misconstrued as a romantic overture, and that is the last thing you want. Romantic overture? What? What is this, Protag? I mean, if you're saying romantic overture, are you a dude or wait? She had a Protag had a skirt, so this is a girl. This is a girl. This is a woman. But how would that be a romantic overture? Oh my god, you're just holding someone's hands to comfort them. Oh my god. You endured more than your fair share of teasing over that. You sit there for a few moments, paralyzed by indecision, as the gravedigger poorly suppresses her sniffles. I mean, I guess from that little line there, maybe she's had a problem with people thinking she's gay or something, or unless she is gay, in which case it's like, I mean, this is I think a Yuri game as well, so maybe there's just prejudice against her because she's possibly gay. Hand-holding is for marriage only. Yes, hand-holding is for marriage only. In the end, you let your arm drop back to your side. Your hand rests upon your lap, as useful as damp kindling, I mean. You do not know what to do with it. You do know that you ought to say something though, to show that you heard her plight and that you cared. You do not know what this something should be, however. No words could ever console the gravedigger. They would never be enough. They can offer some balm, however, to the bereaved. And so, after a pause just long enough to be awkward, you offer your condolences. What else can you say? Oh no, the gravedigger replies, wiping a few stray tears away with the back of her arm. It's alright. I've grown used to it, really. Being on my own, I mean. It ain't so bad, really. And I'm not alone now, at least. I've met you. You'll keep me company, won't you? Well, what can you say to that? You aren't callous enough to trample this poor girl's hopes, are you? You know full well yourself how awful that feels. You can do nothing but nod, a response which makes the girl smile more widely still. Protect your hand purity. Yes, protect your hand purity. Don't show off them ankles. No, use gloves to cover them wrists, man. Don't be showing off the goods just yet. wonderful. I know you're just a traveler who's passing through, but I can offer you bread and board until you leave. I have food enough and a spare bedroom. I can make it up for you. I can make it up for you right now. You must be tired after your long journey. Just give me a moment. Wrists. Naughty. Yes, very, very naughty. We can't, guys, we can't be showing the wrists. We can't be showing the wrists, for, you know. That's very lewd. That's very not safe for work. Don't you have your toes out now? Yeah. You know, don't show off the goods just yet, you know. You gotta cover up the goods first. You gotta get to know the person before you can finally, you know, take off a little bit of that glove and show off the wrists. But it's too lewd, you know, if you show them right away. You're gonna excite some people if you show off some wrists and ankles. The gravedigger rises to her feet in a flurry of excitement, then retreats. You watch as she departs, a little too eager to please and crown. The girl's home is a small, humble one with a low ceiling and slanted walls. You cannot imagine such a small dwelling possessing a spare bedroom. The so-called spare bedroom is, in all likelihood, the room her father slept in before the plague carried him off. You do not think that you would much like to spend the night in the room of a dead man, but what choice do you have? But doesn't your model have like full feet? I mean, it's not like you're seeing them now, though. I'm not like showing off my feet. You can't see my feet right now. I don't have my feet out. I don't have my grippers out. What are you talking about? You're tired. Wretchedly so. Why, is it all you can do to keep your eyes open? While you were running through the forest, desperate to escape your pursuer, you had no thought in mind beyond finding some safe sanctuary in which you could recuperate. Now that you have found said sanctuary, it would be unreasonable to find faults with it. You ought to learn to be more thankful for what you have. There are many, many people in the world with less. Feet redeem when? I don't know, man. I don't know when feet redeem will be. Wise people think alike. Oh my god. Why you guys be thinking of the grippers? Why? You rise and follow the gravedigger. Once she has finished her preparations to her so-called spare bedroom, which is every bit as cramped as you feared it would be. At least there is a bed, which comes as something of a relief. The rest of the lodgings are so humble you were half expecting a straw pallet. What are you assuming of these people, man? Why do you think they sleep in like barns and you know, blanket themselves in hay? It's commoners can have normal beds too. It's not gonna be the most luxurious bed ever, but it's a bed nonetheless. As tired as you might be, you cannot lie to yourself. You have no desire to sleep among the hay like an animal. Whoever this protagonist is, they have to be some rich kid, and they're very, very sheltered. To all hell, does not know anything about the world at all. The sheets of the bed are clean, too, a fact you discern with a cursory glance. So, you will not be expected to sleep upon the sweat-soaked linen of a plague-ridden man after all. This really is your lucky day. I got you this too, the gravedigger says, somewhat shyly, as she hands you a folded gown. To sleep in. I thought it might come in handy. Your clothes are, a little shabby. She can say that again. Your skirt is covered in mud, and the hem is torn and ragged. This nightgown is one of my old ones, so it suffered a bit of wear and tear, but I hope it'll fit alright. It's clean if nothing else. You accept the nightgown from your benefactress with words of thanks. You want to sound appropriately appreciative, but you cannot mask your fatigue. Weariness overcomes you, and you yawn, a fact the gravedigger does not fail to notice. Oh, begging your pardon, I don't want to keep you. I'll be making myself scarce. If you need anything though, don't hesitate to ask. I'd be happy to help. She complains as much as you. I mean! I mean, come on! She's complaining about the fact that she didn't want to sleep in a barn full with animals and like hay. And she was complaining about the house being fucking small. Like, that's clearly like she's clearly a sheltered noble or something. The gravedigger bows her head to you like a judge, then hurries off, closing the door behind her with a thud. Tired though you are, you soon find that you rather miss your hostess's company. In the face of her good-natured smiles, you could almost forget all of the hardships you have hitherto endured. In her absence, however, your lodgings feel almost unbearably cold and inhospitable. You suppress a shudder, then unclothe yourself. You work as quickly as you are able, but your fingers are cold, and they fumble with the buttons of your blouse. It takes you more time than you would like to complete this endeavor, but you soon have your shirt and your skirt dispensed with. You are too tired to fold them neatly, so you do not bother to fold them at all. Instead, you cast them carelessly upon the floor, as defiant as a sulky child, then pull on your new nightgown. Your hostess's early warnings were apt enough. It is quite worn, but it fits well enough. It is more comfortable at least than your old uniform. You have endured worse. Newly dressed and ready for bed, you loosen your hair from your braids and settle down among the sheets. It is with a sigh you extinguish the weakly flickering candlelight which burns on your bedside, and with another sigh that you lay your head down upon your pillow. Though physically exhausted, you have to wonder whether you will be able to sleep at all. You can recall your previous dash through the forest in such vivid detail your heart is still pounding. That fear has yet to leave you. Perhaps it will never leave you. Your terror was such. It almost feels as though it has suffused itself into your bones, into your very being. But your exhaustion is greater than your worldly anxieties, and soon it claims you. Your eyelids fall shut, and your breathing inevitably begins to even out. It is not long until you are spiraling through a dark, deep abyss, lost in Morpheus's kingdom. But your sleep, despite your wearied state, is not as restorative as you had hoped. Your imagination has always been overactive. Even at the conservatoire, you are frequently beset by dreams of the most vivid nature. Conservatoire? 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 Wait a second. Conservatoire. A college for the study of classical music or other arts, typically in the continental European tradition. Conservatory in English, I mean, I know. I see. So she was... Sounds more French. I see, so I guess she was studying music or something. Something related to the arts. The dreams that you have this night, lying beneath unfamiliar sheets upon an unfamiliar bed, are no less intense than usual. In your dreams, you are back at the conservatoire, the place where this adventure of yours began. You are wearing the crisp white blouse you once discarded, and your grey, unremarkable skirt. Your hair is tied in braids, and your eyes are downturned, forever focused upon your feet. You tried not to look at your classmates, and you thought yourself fortunate if they did not look at you in return. You did not want anybody to notice you. Until that awful winter, that is, where everybody stopped paying attention to you for good. Nobody tried to trip you when you walked past them in the hallways. Nobody, in fact, so much as glanced at you. All of a sudden, there were no malicious whispers, no wicked laughter, no pulled hair, and no thrown objects. You were giddy with relief at first over this newfound means of tormenting you that your classmates had devised. But this little game, that of complete and utter disregard, continued on and on and on as the days grew shorter and the nights grew longer. As time passed, you began to fret as to the state of your own corporeality. Could anybody still see you? Did you even exist at all? Then at long last, you found it, quite by accident, the source of all your woes. One of the girls had erected it in the forest through which you were sometimes bidden to jog for PE class, beneath the shade cast by an old oak tree. It was a makeshift tombstone, a small, meager monument made of stone, upon which one of your classmates had hewn a name. Your name. You knew at once as you stood there, standing beneath the shade of the ancient tree, that this was the reason behind your classmates' silence. This was why they had, for many months, been ignoring you so assiduously. They had buried you. In their hearts, you had already died. Okay, but why were you being chased? That's still not There's still no explanation for that. Who was chasing you? Your eerie dreams notwithstanding, you sleep more comfortably than you had anticipated. When you awake the following morning to the sweet chirping of birdsong, you feel well rested, albeit woozy. Your head is aching. It is nothing, however, that a cup of hot tea cannot fix. You stumble into the kitchen in your nightclothes, your hair loose and your feet bare, and the gravedigger turns to you. She looks at your face, which is pasty, and your under eyes, which are dark, and exclaims in the manner of one accustomed to solving problems, not complaining about them. "Oh, you look awful. I think you need something warm to drink. And maybe you need something to eat too? Let me get started on breakfast." And that is exactly what she does. She gets started on breakfast, which proves to be quite the simple affair, nothing like the luxurious foods you were accustomed to in your past life. The bread is hard enough to break your teeth on, and the cheese is a bit too strong. It is food all the same though, and you do not complain. Your stomach was beginning to grumble. The tea is inoffensive at least, and you drink it gratefully. You thank the gravedigger girl for her hospitality, and she smiles at you in return, a sunny smile, like a field of blooming bellflowers. The waifu is the Reaper. Yeah, actually, we don't even know her name to begin with. "It's no problem. Don't hesitate to ask me if you need anything else," she says, words which come to symbolize your relationship. You stay with the gravedigger for many, many more days, and limited though her means might be, she always tries to help you. The gravedigger sets you chores about the house to keep you occupied, a fact for which you are grateful. That's the plot twist I'm calling it now. Either she's a reaper, or she's a cannibal, or she's a murderer. You need to do something to keep your mind off your frantic flight through the forest. You can almost forget about it now, during the day. During the night, however, it returns to you, the sound of your feet against the foliage and the swirling fog. When you sleep, you are assailed by nightmares. Sometimes you awake after midnight, the sheets twisted around your body, and your mouth gaping open in a paroxysm of terror. Though you try to tell yourself otherwise, you are still afraid. Oh yeah, we don't even know her name. Yeah! We don't even know her name! We don't even know our name! That was never said! We still call her Gravedigger! Being with the Gravedigger makes you feel less so though. Particularly when you're sweeping the floor, or keeping an eye on the bread loaves so they do not burn. You attend to most of the domestic chores, while the Gravedigger concerns herself with the work she knows best. That is, digging graves. Her dogged persistence when it comes to this pursuit intrigues you, so much so that you cannot help but posit a question to her on one particular morning when the sky is festooned with clouds. "Why," you ask, perhaps a touch insensitively, "do you continue to dig graves? There's nobody left, after all, to dig for them for. You have always been practical, and you cannot see the point in it." "What's the point in it, The Gravedigger ponders, while holding her precious shovel to her chest. Fortunately, she does not seem upset by your question despite its bluntness. You should count yourself lucky her temperament is so very placid. "I don't suppose there is any point to it, really," the Gravedigger eventually says with a smile. "I know it doesn't have any practical purpose, but... well... digging graves is what my father did. He showed me how to do it, so I could continue his legacy. My father wanted to keep our family tradition going. And I suppose I want to do the same. That's all there is to it, really." "That's all? Is it? You think you can understand that? Though your companion's actions might appear to be illogical, there is a kernel of reason nestled amongst them. I mean, our name isn't important." I guess our name isn't important then. I mean, to be fair, she could always just move to another village and become a gravedigger there. She does not dig graves out of any sense of purpose, she does it instead out of sentiment. Besides, I have to do something to keep myself busy, don't I? If I spent my days idling all on my own, I think I'd go mad. You could always move. The gravedigger laughs at this, as though the prospect of her own madness is amusing. Her laugh, despite her slender stature, is not particularly delicate. It reminds you, perhaps unkindly, of the braying of a horse. You're ashamed of thinking such a thing, though, and your face flushes with the guilt of it. You cannot all be well-bred young ladies, you know. Still, the laughter of the gravedigger, as it echoes through the grey, gloomy sky, is strangely desperate. It sounds forced. Her smile, too, is a touch unnatural, the rictus grin of a corpse. You find, despite your attempts to return her laugh with a polite giggle, that you cannot. You cannot help but pity her. You retreat indoors briefly after your talk with the gravedigger, then set about some simple chores. The gravedigger trusts you well enough to manage sweeping the floor, a task which does not take particularly long, and the preparing of the meals, a task which takes slightly longer. It is not until much later, however, once the sun has already sunk beneath the horizon and the moon is high in the sky, that the gravedigger returns from the outdoors. She is windswept after many hours spent exposed to the elements, and there's dirt caked beneath her fingernails. The gravedigger removes her cloak, which she hangs by the door, and looks at the pot suspended over the fire, a fire which you stoke with your own fair hands. The scent of cooking food, that of garlic and onions, fills the air, suffusing the interior of the kitchen in a homey aroma which makes your stomach rumble. Taking stock of this, the gravedigger smiles at you, a toothy smile which, despite her status as a lowly peasant, is surprisingly clean and bright and white. Thank you so much, dear one. There's nothing like returning home after a hard day's work to find dinner already prepared. Now, let me give it a test. The gravedigger dips a spoon into the soup, then brings it to her lips. She blows upon it. Then she places the spoon into her mouth, the wooden utensil clacking against her teeth. Observe this with a touch of anxiety. Will she like the food which you have prepared for her? I've cooked for her before in the past, and she was always very complimentary of your efforts. Cooking is not your forte, however. You never had to concern yourself with it really, growing up in relative comfort as you did. You think that you enjoy this rustic mode of existence more than you did any of the privileges of your past life. At least now, with the gravedigger, you have a steadfast friend, a staunch ally. When you're with her, you are not alone, and that is worth its weight in gold. The gravedigger exclaims after drawing the spoon from her lips. Her smile a bright, guileless one. It's delicious! Your face flushes at this compliment. You are unaccustomed to receiving them, and it makes you feel good. Shyly, you ask the gravedigger if she truly means that, a query which makes the gravedigger smile. Of course I mean it. You've become quite good at cooking, really. That is a relief. You were not very good at all of this cooking malarkey in the beginning. You do not know how to handle a knife, nor how to peel a vegetable. You cut yourself more than once. You bled into the soup on several occasions, but never once did you throw this sullied soup out. You got jump scared? What do you mean you got jump scared? What happened? The gravedigger lives a humble existence, and she cannot afford to waste her precious ingredients. Okay, how long have they been living together now? To the point where Protag learned how to cook. God, I thought you said my real name. What do you mean a real name? When did I say a name? What? When did I say a name? But no, for real, like, how long have they been living together that Protag learns how to cook? Your soups during your stay have all been seasoned with the slightest hint of iron. Today's soup, however, is a marked step above all the rest. You did not cut yourself with the knife even once. Maybe your companion's compliments are not empty fluff. You just said something that sounded similar. Okay. Okay. Maybe you really are improving. The soup should be ready to serve. I have some bread too that we can eat it with, but... Oh, I should brew some tea too. Let me. Ah yes, the tea. You knew that you were forgetting something. You were so focused on the soup, it must have slipped your mind. Your face flushes yet again at this oversight, and shyly, you offer to correct it. The gravedigger, however, waves your request aside. No, that's alright. You made the dinner, so I'll brew the tea. It's only fair. It won't take all that long. Would you mind serving up the soup while I'm busy? Of course you would not mind. You do enjoy making yourself useful. For a lady, you are awfully domestic. You work alongside the gravedigger to finish your nightly meal, and together you serve it. Soup and bread, alongside 2 cups of piping hot tea, prepared by your hostess's own 2 hands. You sit together at the table, then partake in this simple fare, after saying grace. The soup really is quite good, despite it being made from only the most commonplace of ingredients. There's a bit of a kick to it, and it warms you from the inside out. The tea, meanwhile, is very soothing, so much so it makes you feel rather sleepy. You would like to sit with the gravedigger for a little while longer and tell stories, as you have sometimes in the past, that or play cards. The nights are long, and there's no better way to pass them than spending time with her. Games of Old Maid, alas, will have to wait. You are too tired for it. You do not know what has happened, but after consuming your victuals, you feel utterly fatigued. You explain your predicament to the gravedigger between your yawns, and she nods in response. That's alright. You don't need to stay up with me. Not if you ain't up to it. To have to bed and rest that pretty head of yours. You do not think you are particularly pretty, but you presume that the gravedigger is just regurgitating a phrase to you. Did not truly mean it. How could she? She is far prettier than you are. You thank the gravedigger for her understanding, then rise from the table. You retreat to the spare bedroom on trembling legs, then change out of your clothes. You have only just slid into your nightgown when you hear the rapping of knuckles upon your door, light and unobtrusive. This rapping could, of course, belong to but one person. It is the gravedigger, come to check up on you. I'm sorry, the gravedigger says, her voice soft. But you rushed to your room so soon after eating, I couldn't help but worry about you. Would you mind if I take a look at you? I just want to see if you're alright. The gravedigger is trying to keep her voice steady, but you can hear it wavering regardless. She really does sound concerned, so much so she could very well be on the brink of tears. You do not want her to cry for you. You would feel horribly guilty if you upset her, even inadvertently, given all that she has done for you. You bid the gravedigger entry into your room, therefore, without further delay, an invitation she hastens to take. The door swings inwards with a creak, and there your hostess stands, still attired in black. Her clothes a stark contrast to your pure white, well, off-white nightgown. The gravedigger looks at you, seated in bed with your hair freed from your usual braids, and exhales. Is that relief, you wonder, playing about her face? But why? What was she expecting to see, exactly, before entering your bedchamber? Thank you for letting me in, the gravedigger says, toying with her fingers. How do you feel? Not too terrible, you reassure her. There are no particular problems with your health, you just feel tired. Are you sure you're not sick? Your face does look a bit pale. That would be nothing out of the norm. You are always pale. True. Now, is there anything I can do for you? Would you like something warm to drink, or maybe a hot brick to place in your bed? It should keep you warm. You appreciate your hostess' thoughtfulness, but you assure her that this won't be necessary. You will be fine. I hope so. I thought that about my father too, before he... The gravedigger begins, but her voice soon trails off. She does not finish that thought. She does not need to. You know now what she was thinking of before she entered your bedroom. Cold, clammy skin, a sweating brow, rank, oozing pustules. You think upon these symptoms, which are eerily similar to those recounted during the Great Plague, which once beset your own country, and you shudder. If you don't want anything, then I'll be on my way, the gravedigger says. But before that... This is just a fancy on my part, but I was wondering, would you mind if I brushed your hair for a little while? Your hair? That's right. It's such a pretty shade of red, is all. I just thought, well, it's just a fancy, really. You don't have to let me, not if you don't want to, but I thought it might help you relax if you're feeling under the weather. I heard it's supposed to be soothing. She's gonna brush her hair. Wow. That's actually, like, usually that's, like, considered, like, a kind of, like, romantic thing. Protect your hair purity. Well, I think she's gonna... I think Protac's hair purity is gonna be gone soon. That is what the gravedigger says. We have the distinct feeling that she is the one looking for solace here. Can you brush your hair if you have eyes in it? I mean, I can brush my hair. I don't know if I can let anyone else brush my hair though. I mean, that is if you don't want your hands getting eaten though. She's not quite so selfless, perhaps, as she would like you to think. But she has been so very good to you, has done so very much for you, that you do not want to begrudge her this small self-indulgence. You rather think she deserves it. You agree, therefore, to her request, and upon doing so, you are certain you have made the right choice. Your hostess's face lights up immediately, in a manner which makes you blush. Oh, thank you. It'd be my honor. Now let me fetch my brush. It would be worth it? You're gonna brush my hair and possibly get your hands eaten, I see. The gravedigger retreats from your room in a hurry, but returns soon thereafter, holding in her right hand the promised brush. This artifact acquired, the gravedigger then settles herself upon your bed by your side. She looks at your hair for a few moments, her expression pensive. Then she announces that she will begin. The gravedigger leans in. The wooden frame of the bed creaks under her weight, a creak which melts with the sighing of the breeze outdoors. You can feel the bristles of the brush running through your hair. It is soothing enough, so much so it makes you shiver. The sensation is a pleasant one, and somewhat nostalgic. Did your mother do this for you, you wonder, when you were a little girl? If she did, it must have been when you were a very little girl. You have not seen your mother in quite some time, not after you were enrolled at the conservatoire. Oh, you have such lovely hair, dear one. It's soft, just like silk, not at all like mine. Mine is so coarse. The gentle voice draws you out of your vague, half-formed reminiscence. It sounds as though the gravedigger is lost in nostalgia of her own, because her voice, when next she speaks, is dreamy. I think my mother used to brush my hair like this for me, back when she was still alive. That must have been a long time ago, though. It is funny, you think, as the bristles of the brush continue to slide through your tresses, that you and the gravedigger should both be reminiscing, in tandem, about your respective mothers. Perhaps there is something maternal in the act of brushing one's hair which is wont to summoning for such images. I would not know, personally. I cannot remember my own mother at all. I don't think I liked having my hair brushed very much, the gravedigger continues, her breath warm against the exposed nape of your neck. My mother used to complain that I squirmed too much. I can remember that. She always told me to sit still, but it wasn't my fault I squirmed. She used too much force. Now, this is curious. It sounds as though the reminiscences of the gravedigger are not particularly fond after all. Did she not get along with her mother? I can't rightly say, the gravedigger replies in a somber sort of a voice. I was young, like I said, when she died. I really don't remember her too well. But I don't think she ever had that much time for me. She was too busy with all of the cooking and the cleaning. Oh, and looking after my baby brothers. But she had time enough, despite that, to brush her hair. She did what she felt she had to make me look presentable. Not that it really worked. I wasn't like the other girls in the village, you see, who like to sit indoors with their mothers and sew. I'd always loved the outdoors. My father said I inherited that from him. Ruefully, the gravedigger smiled. Not that you can see it with your back facing her. My mother said I wasn't very, well, maidenly. She didn't like that I always traipsed around outside after my father, watching as he dug graves. She said it wasn't. She's not like the other girls. She's not like the other girls. She likes to be outside digging graves, you guys. She likes touching corpses. She likes the sight of dead people. She said it wasn't appropriate, like I was some sort of a princess wearing a fine dress. The gravedigger snorts. I used to get a bit muddy, yes, and maybe I did get burrs in my clothes and knots in my hair, but it shouldn't have mattered. It's not like I ever had any hopes of marrying a prince, no matter what my mother said. But still, she hoped. She had a lot of hopes, my mother. High hopes. I think she might have resented my father, maybe, for working such a menial job. Our profession is an honest one, but it's never made much money. Reaper's daughter, and the Reaper was cheesing you. think my mother was hoping for fine jewels and dresses and... Oh, I don't know. She always had ideas. Her head was full of fairy tales. It was a shame, I suppose, that her reality didn't match up to what she wanted. I didn't match up to what she wanted. The bitterness in your friend's voice is unmistakable. So much so, you want to console her. What would you say to her, though? You never met your companion's mother. You never will either. Her cold, inert body has been lying in the graveyard, buried beneath a tombstone for over a decade. You have no way of ascertaining whether your companion's mother truly cared for her. You do have intelligence enough, however, to understand that poorly thought out condolences can cause more harm than good. You would not like it if people tried to reassure you that, of course, your father loved you, really. If he loved you, then why did he send you away from home? Why did he never send you any letters? You know he was worried about his finances, but that seems a poor excuse to pretend that his only daughter did not exist. As for your own mother, meanwhile, she was nice, at least you think she was, but she was woefully ineffectual. Though she was nominally an adult, she always cleaved before your father's judgment. You think that she was afraid of him. You do not try to tell the gravedigger, therefore, that her mother loved her. She must have done, else she would not have given birth to her. Instead, she sits there, letting the brush run through your hair, and you say quietly that you understand. Sometimes you feel like a disappointment yourself. Well, the gravedigger says after a pause, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I guess it happens to all of us. You guess so. Parents are only people after all. While one would hope one's parents would be kind and attentive, they too can fall victim to caprices of their own. Just because one has brought a child into this world does not mean one will be able to take care of it properly. Not all parents are responsible, just as not all people are responsible. It is a painful subject. Oh well, it's alright if my mother never liked me, or even if she never loved me. I know my father did, and that's all that matters. He was always there for me, no matter what. Your companion's voice catches in her throat. She winces. At least, until he wasn't. He died, and I didn't do a thing to help him. Your companion's shoulders are beginning to shake. You still cannot see her, but you can feel her body convulsing. You can sense her loneliness rolling off her in waves. It is all-consuming, like the waters of a deep, dark ocean. Grief anew pierces your heart, not on your behalf, but for the sake of your benefactress. It does not deserve to suffer so much. This you have no qualms with telling her. You turn to face her and pluck the brush which has been hovering in the air, inert from her fingers. Then you let her know that her father's death was not her fault. What could she have done? She could not have cured his illness. I know, but I can't help but think, what if? I keep racking my head over and over trying to come up with something, but I can't think of anything. And even if I could, it's too late. He's already dead. He's dead and buried. I buried him, and now I'm all alone. You might have been alone, you tell the gravedigger, but she isn't now, not anymore. How can she be when you are there? I know that. I know, and I'm grateful, but I don't know if I deserve it. Why would she not deserve your company? You do not understand. Because I couldn't do nothing for nobody. My father always looked out for me when I was a little girl, but when he needed me the most, I failed him. I failed everyone. All of the villagers, all of my friends, all died. What would I do if the same thing happened to you? I don't think I could bear it. I don't want you getting sick too. And when I care about you so much, then leave! Leave the village! Go somewhere else! Why would you stay? Why would you stay in a place that could possibly still have the plague? I thought I'd gotten used to being on my own, but now that you're here, it's making me worry all over again. I've been worrying so much I can't sleep from it. I'm scared. Your companion's voice catches in her throat. Then she collapses in on herself. She leans forward, her arms wound about her middle as if to steady herself, and she cries. She cries, and she cries, and she cries. For a few moments, you look at the gravedigger, unsure of what to do. Her pale face, streaked with silvery tears, seems to flicker in the candlelight. Her shoulders, which seem too slender to bear the cumulative weight of all the sorrow she has endured, are shaking. I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Your fatigue continues to cling to you, and assistant as the fog which rolls amongst the tombstones in the graveyard at night. You are not so very tired, however, you cannot offer your hostess some comfort. You do not know what you can say to console her. You feel too weary to think of pretty phisms, but there is something you can think of. You would not typically be so bold, of course, but you are tired enough for once to throw caution to the wind. That, and the tears of the gravedigger, are awfully arresting. Ooh! We get a CG! And we get to see our protag finally. Well, kind of, sort of, really. Not really, but like, you know, sort of. You open your arms, and before the gravedigger can pass comment, you pull her to your chest. Oh my. Oh my. We are getting CG. Oh. A soft exclamation escapes the lips of the gravedigger, quiet into the sound of wintry snow as it brushes the ground. Then there's nothing. The gravedigger is stiff in your arms for a few moments, like the corpses she and her father used to seal away inside their wooden coffins. She is all wide eyes and awkward, pointed elbows, tears still coursing down her pale cheeks. You worry briefly as you hold her that you have perhaps made a mistake. Were your attempts at consoling her too clumsy? You would not know. You have never been in a situation like this before. You have never consoled any friends before, because you never had any friends to console. It's not so now, however. You are as far away from your old life as it is possible to be, and the gravedigger does not curse you for your impudence. Neither does she try to squirm away from you. Instead, she sits there, still as a statue, cradled in your arms. Oh, I'm very sorry to show you something so embarrassing. It's just, I get so lonely sometimes. Until at long last, with a breathy sob, she lets the full weight of her body fall against yours. You run your hands against your sobbing companion's shoulder, blades in her back, and gently you soothe her. You tell her that she does not need to apologize. There is no shame in crying. You hug her for so many minutes while she sobs against your chest, wetting the front of your nightgown. No further words pass between you that night, but they do not need to. Words are irrelevant. In a moment as tender as this, shared between two souls who have come to understand one another through mutual loneliness. You slide beneath your sheets. You still feel exhausted, and the gravedigger joins you without asking for permission. It would be an unnecessary piece of politeness, really, given your acceptance is all but assured. You have already accepted the gravedigger, after all, every single inch of her. You have accepted her hospitality. You have accepted her food. Now you're accepting her company. You arrange yourself beneath the sheets, then draw her body to yours. The gravedigger has not yet changed into her nightwear. Her clothes will be horribly rumpled when she wakes come the following morning, her head resting against her chest. But tomorrow has ceased to matter. It no longer exists. There is no concept of time between the two of you. No thought of the day which will dawn once this night inevitably ends. Instead, there is only the warmth shared between you and the wetness on the cheeks of the gravedigger. There is the sound, irregular now and less intense than before, of your companion's muted, muffled sobs. There is this gentle, tender moment snatched in the midst of a deep, dark night, which can never be replaced. Your eyelids feel heavy as though weighted down with stones. They droop inexorably downwards, pulling you like a drowning maiden into the dark, impenetrable abyss of slumber. You yawn. Then you fall asleep, cozied up beside the gravedigger like two cats in a basket. You sleep, and you sleep, and you sleep, more deeply than you have allowed yourself in quite some time. What the fuck? But when you awake, you find that you are no longer in the bed upon which you slept in, shrouded by sheets. The gravedigger, too, is nowhere to be seen. What is this breathing sound? Instead, you are quite alone, lying by yourself in the dark. You blink, but your surroundings do not become any clearer. Is it the middle of the night? Perhaps you were aroused from your slumber by the desire to relieve yourself, or else to slake your thirst. Your sleep has been awfully disordered as of late, and the smallest of noises have been enough to disturb you. That does not sound quite right, though. You slept well, of that you are certain. Your body feels invigorated, as though it has slumbered for hours and hours. How many hours? You do not know. You do not know much of anything. You can feel a strange pinching sensation around your chest, however, and around your arms. It would appear as though somebody, but who else could have been save the gravedigger, changed your attire while you were sleeping. That is a startling thought, but the darkness which entombs you is even more so. The darkness which surrounds you is unsettlingly complete. It is so thick you cannot penetrate it. Your newfound woes do not stop, however, at this deep, unnatural darkness. It is cold, too, and you are lying upon something hard. Some sort of a stone slab? What is going on? You reach out, but your movements are soon stymied. There is something heavy laying atop you, something that is limiting your movements. You were anxious before, upon awakening. At this discovery, you feel downright aggrieved. A sharp prong of panic pierces you, but you try to suppress it. Hysterics will get you nowhere. In most cases, they only tend to make bad situations even worse. Ought to know that already. You swallow your mounting dread as best you can, though it is coming on thick and fast, and try to squirm. You move your arms outwards, but they do not get very far. There is a wall above you, and walls on either side of you. Walls do not budge no matter how hard you push. Not, I must add, that you can push particularly hard, your anxious state notwithstanding. You have never had much in the way of upper body strength, nor lower body strength. You do not have much in the way of strength at all. You feel quite helpless as you lie there, out of breath from your meager exertions, unsure of what you should do more. You can hardly see a foot in front of your face. You do not know where you are, nor why, but a terrible premonition is beginning to bear down upon you, one which initially you tried to discard. You did not want to accept it as a possibility, but where else could the truth lie? You are lying in a box, hemmed in by walls which offer only a scant few inches for you to stretch in any direction. What else could you be but a coffin? The moment you allow yourself to ponder this awful reality is the moment you hear it. The irregular sound of drumming. It is as though somebody, though they must be a very large somebody, is tapping their fingertips upon the lid of your coffin. That, or it is raining. It is not the fingers of a giantess, though. It is not the fingers of a giantess, though, which is disturbing you, nor is it falling rain. It is dirt. The sound continues on and on as though it is drilling its way inside your skull. It is relentless. It is merciless. Like the ticking of a great celestial clock. It cannot be stopped. Your time is almost running out. But you knew that already, didn't you, when you were running through the forest? You ought to have known, silly thing, that you could not outpace your destiny forever. Sooner or later, it would catch up with you. You are stubborn, though, and you do not want to accept this. Then protect your hair purity. Oh, come on! Leave my hair purity alone, okay? I let a pretty girl brush my hair. Not content to simply lie there, though. You cry out. You cry not for your parents, whom you hardly knew, nor for your school friends, for you never had any. Instead, you cry out for your new companion, the girl with whom you've been living, and with whom you shared one precious, cherished moment. You cry out for the gravedigger. Surely this is some manner of mistake. Once she realizes that you are, in fact, entombed in one of the coffins she is currently filling, or who else would be moving the dirt above you, she will cease her operations at once. She will pull you out of the darkness, back into the world of the living, and then she will hold you close. She will embrace you. She cannot mean to cause you any harm, and when she was so good to you and so kind, why would she bury you? You cry to her so loudly you fear your vocal cords might tear, all while banging against the roof of your compact prison. You cry desperately, helplessly, and to your relief, your cries do not fall upon deaf ears. The sound of the falling soil stops, albeit briefly. Then you hear a voice. The voice is very faint, given it's being filtered through your coffin's dirty lid, but you recognize it. So you're awake then, are you, dear one? The gravedigger says. She sighs. Then she says in a perplexed sort of a voice, Now, that is a pickle. I was hoping you'd be asleep a couple hours more, so the last time we spoke could have been on better terms. If you keep screaming like that, I'm going to feel bad. Your companion's words, though distant, are unmistakable. You are so tense you are attuned to every single syllable, and each of them makes you gasp. Was this not a mistake, then? Does she truly mean to bury you alive? You posit this question to the gravedigger as best you can, trying to keep the tremors from your voice as you do. Perhaps you think, in your optimism, that if you do not let her know how afraid you are, she will reward you for your bravery and let you go. If that is what you're hoping, though, it is in vain. That's right. You really do catch on quick. Though it would appear she really has committed to the task of burying you. What an unfortunate turn of events. Why, though, would she do such a thing? You thought that she was your friend. We are friends, the gravedigger says, her voice still worryingly offhand, worryingly empty. I'm very fond of you. There's nobody dearer to me than you. I've had a really good time with you these last... How long has it been again? I don't remember. Neither do you. Well, if this little detail has slipped both of your minds, it can't be all that important. You have other things to worry about. If you really are friends, you say to the gravedigger, then what does she hope to gain by burying you? You do not understand. But you understand her reply even less. Well, here's the thing, the gravedigger says, in a reasonable sort of a voice, as though burying somebody alive could ever be thought of as a reasonable action. I've been digging graves for a long time, see? You cannot see, it is too dark, but you affirm that you do all the same. Well, I was digging all these graves, but I've not had anybody to put them in. Not for ages. It was rather sad. You think you know where this train of logic, twisted though it is, might be going, so you do not interrupt her. You know no good would come of it. All you can do, for the present, is lie there and listen. I was thinking I'd never find another person to bury in this godforsaken village. Not after the plague messed everything up. I was getting desperate. Until you came along, that is. Now that I have somebody I can bury, I'm not gonna let the opportunity pass me by. You wanna bury me? You've been going crazy, not being able to have anyone to bury, so you bury me? Are you for fucking real, man? I'm just a corpse to you? Excuse me? I'm sorry, but this is just part of my job. It's what my father taught me to do. That's all I know how to do. I mean, you bury dead people. If you want to bury someone so badly, bury animals. I'm sure you can find dead animals somewhere. Animals! Why are you burying a live person? I buried my mother, and I buried my father. I buried all of my friends. Now, I'm going to bury you too. It is sound logic, in a sense. As the daughter of a gravedigger, digging graves is her job. But something about it rankles you. If only you could put your finger on it. Ah yes. There's a bit of a flaw with her reasoning, is there not? You are not dead after all. You might not be dead now, the gravedigger says, in response to her ingenuity. But you will be, if given enough time. I mean, everybody else I've ever known's died. Who's to say you wouldn't be next? It seems rather more likely that you will die, and quickly, if she persists with her poorly thought out plan to bury you. Your coffin is not very large. It affords you precious little space. Eventually, if trapped within it for long enough, you will run out of oxygen. Then you will suffocate. That, or you will starve to death. Either way, your demise will be a slow, painful one. You are unsure which death would be worse, though, given how precarious the situation is. You do not wish to expend the necessary energy needed to ponder it. Why can't you plant flowers and trees instead, right? Why can't you start... Why can't she pick up a hobby of like planting? Why does it have to be bodies? You need to plead with the gravedigger, and quickly, while she is still here. You tell her, tearfully, that you will not leave her. Why would you? You try to sound as convincing as your disordered nerves will allow, but the gravedigger remains unmoved. You say that, she says, but how can I know you're not... But how can I know you're telling the truth? I thought you said you were a traveler. Never stayed put in one place for long. You'd get sick of me before long, and you'd leave me. This way, at least, I can be assured that we'll always stay together. If I bury you like I did the others, we'll never be up far apart. I even took care to put you in a nice spot, close to my home, so you're only a stone's throw away, really. Isn't that nice? Privately, you think that the gravedigger has a different conception of the word nice to you. You do not say this, however. You cannot say much of anything because the panic has begun to set in. It is choking you, stopping up your throat so you can only cry. You scream, you beg and you plead, but it does little good. The gravedigger has already buried her mother. She has already buried her little brothers. She has even buried her father, whom she loved above all else. She thinks, by burying you, she is doing unto you an act of great kindness. You think that she is going to kill you. In a sense, you are both right. Your opinions are so diametrically opposed on this matter, however, that you will never be able to find any common ground. You might as well save your screaming. She will not listen to you. She is beyond listening. Shush, shush, dear one, says the gravedigger, very gently, just as gently as she spoke last night when she confided in you all of her fears. You won't be so bad, really. Nothing will be able to hurt you down there. It'll be just like going to sleep for a really, really long time. You can rest, and while you rest, I'll tend to you. I'll plant flowers or grave. You'd like that, wouldn't you? This way, we can always be together, and I'll never be lonely again. While the gravedigger speaks, she begins to pile even more soil onto the roof of your coffin. The sound of dirt on top of you, on your arms, on your legs, your head, conceals her companion's final words. You cannot hear her. You cannot hear anything beyond the sounds of the dirt and the scrapings of the shovel and your own desperate, frantic screams. You scream and you scream and you scream without cease until your throat feels hoarse, but your efforts are in vain. You hammer on the lid of the coffin with as much strength as you can muster, but the lid of the coffin is nailed shut. You are in no position to remove it. It's going to do this to us. What? What do you mean? You're in no position to remove it. All you can do is lie there, screaming and crying and banging your fists on the roof of the coffin over and over as more dirt and debris falls on top of you. Eventually, enough dirt falls on you to stifle your screams for good. The gravedigger can no longer hear you, and you can no longer hear her. You are all alone, trapped in a narrow wooden box which, regardless of what you want, is now your new home. You can smell the soil in the backs of your nostrils when you inhale. It is so potent you can taste it on your tongue. You can taste the eventual, inevitable decay of your own body. You will remain trapped here, underground, forever and ever. Or to use less melodramatic terms, until the last of your energy escapes you and you succumb to your own slow suffocation. It isn't a very pleasant way to go, but you'll forgive me if my sympathy is limited. You did bring this upon yourself, you know. You reap what you sow. In your case, you made a series of bad decisions which led to your untimely demise. Now, what do you want to do? That sounds like a choice is gonna be given to me. Will you accept this fate of yours and rest in peace? Or will you try to fight against it? I finally saved on time. Accept your fate. Fight against your fate. Fight! Are you not happy with the hand that fate has dealt you? Oh, very well. I cannot blame you. It's quite a grim ending. I would not wish it upon my worst enemy. And you are rather dearer to me than that. Now, why don't we give this another go? Just try not to be buried alive this time. I can only endure so much of your screaming. Your fate is once again in your hands. Now I wonder, which path will you take? Oh! Oh! Well then, we're back here. I wonder what would have happened if we just like died. But okay then. I don't know what's going on. Did we? No, it didn't reload. So basically, I chose the option to like basically fight back, but now, I guess whoever the narrator is, I don't know, seems like some highly powerful being, and I guess it set us back here to restart. But the option to go to the village is no more, so it's either the shore or the castle. So, do you want to go to the shore, or do we want to go to the castle? Time travel? I guess it could be time travel. I'm guessing time travel? Possibly, possibly. But yeah, do we go to the shore or do we go to the castle now? Shore? We want to go to the shore? Okay, I guess we'll go to the shore then. We saved anyway, so it's fine. So, you want to go to the shore? Good idea. What will you discover there, I wonder? This night is far from over, and there are any number of adventures still waiting for you. I hope that you have prepared yourself in advance, and I do hope for your sake that you have learned how to swim. I have a sneaking suspicion that this skill might come in handy. You follow the path which leads to the shore, supporting yourself on weary, aching limbs which feel ready to snap at the knee beneath the burn of your weight. You are a little more than a wisp of a girl, but you have been running for so very long, and your feet are so very numb, you feel like a great lumbering thing. Touch some water. It's like that TikTok. And that TikTok of like, that's grass. No, I want to go to the sea. I want to go to the ocean. I want to touch some water. Game didn't really give much game choices, right? I feel like I'm just reading more. You need to lie down, and quickly. You only hope as you continue to run that you will find a means to escape your current predicament by the shore. You do not know which awaits you, but you have visions of a harbor extending out to the horizon, cradling a fleet of white-sailed fishing vessels. Surely there will be a kind fisherman who will be willing to take you far, far away on his boat, to a place where your pursuer will not be able to find you. You can imagine, too, the face of this kindly fisherman, a face you have lifted from the fairy tales you have read in abundance as a small child. He will have thick, bushy eyebrows and a dark brown beard streaked through with gray. He will look intimidating at a glance, but he will be fiercely protective of you, just like a father. You do not know what fathers are supposed to be like. You are only imagining. It is your imagination, however, which grants you the strength needed to keep going. You run to the shore. It takes some time before you finally emerge from the woods, but finally you do it. How much time, you ask? I cannot answer that. Did I not say that time had begun to lose all its meaning? The forest is behind you now, at least in all the awful nightmares that lurk within it. It's still cold though, and still foggy. It's still dark too. The sun has yet to rise. You can see the moon more clearly now as it hangs above your head, round as any pearl or orb or crystal ball. The moonlight shines down upon the vertiginous cliffs, which plummets sharply downwards to an array of sharp, spiky rocks below. You felt upon escaping the woods a degree of hope, but the sight of these weathered, blasted cliffs gives you pause. You inhale, then you frown. Now, what are you to do? Do not think this plan of yours do very well. Not that you had much in the way of a plan in the first place. There's little in the way of civilization here. The cliffs are far from the village. How far? You do not know, and you cannot see any houses. Where exactly will you rest your weary head, and what of your weary legs? Fitfully, you look around. There's nobody to your east, nor is there anybody to your west. Oh, there's someone singing now. There's no point in looking south. That's the way you came. And when you look at the north, the world falls away from you. Cliffs are too steep to scale, and it is too dark. Naturally, there's not a soul here to help you. You're on your own. You feel so overwhelmed, you could very well cry. You do not cry, however. You know that tears have never helped anyone. You got yourself into this mess. You need to get yourself out of it. It is with this thought in mind that you inhale a lungful of salty, oceanic air. Then, you begin your exploration in earnest. You keep away from the edge of the cliffs, afraid that you might slip and take a sudden, unfortunate tumble into the abyss below. You're not as attached to your mortal body as some humans are, but you do not want to die. You still care for yourself, if only a little. And it is with the sense of self-preservation which compels you onwards. You glance this way and that, depressing the tall grass beneath your shoes as you search for a piece of shelter. Surely there must be somewhere. You cannot see any likely looking settlements, but what is that over yonder? Could that be a roof? You hurry onwards, hope budding anew in your heart, until at long last you reach your destination. There is a house after all, out here in the wilds, though it doesn't look at a glance look very welcoming. The solitary house that you have discovered, not so far from the cliffs, is rather unremarkable. It is so small and squat, you cannot imagine it contains within it more than one floor. You cannot even imagine that it contains much more than one room. Though it is dark, it is not dark enough to mask that the cottage has something of a slant to it. It is leaning listlessly to one side, like a drunken sailor. The thatched roof, meanwhile, which tops this dwelling, has certainly seen better days. There's a hole in the thatch. There are several holes, in fact, and parts of it look particularly bare, almost bald. That is rather concerning. Should it rain, you will not be properly protected from the elements. Can you really stay the night in such a place? Have some misgivings. But do your misgivings matter, really, when there's nowhere else to go? It's not as though you have any other options. It is with a sense of defeat, therefore, that you approach the cottage, which sticks out of the earth like a tombstone. Part of you wants to turn back, but you know that would be foolish. The windows of the cottage are dark, but that does not necessarily mean it is empty. It is rather late at night, after all. Whoever lives here, if indeed anybody does live here, might be asleep. You cannot imagine the owners of this cottage will appreciate being roused so very late at night. You cannot let yourself worry too much about these small details, however. Otherwise, you will never get anywhere. You swallow. The taste of the salty sea breeze is pungent in the back of your nostrils. Then you rap the knuckles of your right fist on the door. You rap quietly at first, but you did not hear any resultant shuffling inside the cottage. Perhaps you did not use enough strength. Emboldened, you rap your knuckles on the door for a second time, more loudly this time. You wait a few moments, but still you cannot hear anything. Perhaps the cottage is unoccupied after all. You knock for a third time, then wait. The third time is, as they say, the charm, but for all that, your knocking goes unanswered. Well, nobody can say that you did not try. More intrigued now than anxious, your fingers find the handle of the door. You pull it down, and to your surprise, it yields easily. The door swings back for you as if by magic. It feels almost as if this was preordained. You step inside the cottage, which is very dark, and glance around. It is hard to see, given the lateness of the hour, but the cottage's interior is about as inspiring as its exterior. Which is to say, not very. It is every bit as small and as cramped as you fancied when you observed it from outside. There are a few cupboards which line the walls, a wood fire which has since been extinguished, and a straw pallet on the floor which must function as a bed. Your search is unsuccessful, however, when it comes to trying to locate other humans. You cannot find another soul. Surely that is to your benefit, though. If nobody else lives here, then you might as well make yourself at home. Or as at home as one can be, I suppose, in a small, cramped cottage such as this, with holes in the roof. You close the door behind you, then approach the straw pallet. All of a sudden, you feel incredibly weary. The tiredness that assails your limbs is absolute, so intense it overcomes the last of your concerns. You settle down upon the straw pallet, yawning as you do. It is not comfortable, but being able to lie down eases some of your aches and pains. Lying down, even on an uncomfortable makeshift bed such as this one, is better than standing. It is far, far better than running. Your eyelids fall shut, your lashes melting together, and soothed by the sounds of the wind and the distant rolling of the waves, you fall asleep. Then you begin to dream. Oh man, what is even going on with this game? It is not uncommon, of course, to dream. Best and the worst of us to do it, from queens in their castles to peasants sleeping in the straw. Why, who is to say that all you have observed tonight has not, in a sense, been a dream of its own? Would that make your nighttime fancies, then, a dream inside of a dream? Perhaps our dreams are empty, hollow things stacked inside one another, like little wooden dolls. Is that not a whimsical thought? How very droll. Your dreams, however, cannot be called whimsical, and neither are they particularly droll. They're not pure fabrications, as dreams sometimes are, fleeting fancies which can never come to pass. Your dreams are of a rather more pernicious sort. In your dreams, you're at the conservatoire with your red hair tied back into two prim, proper braids. You are walking through the courtyard, clutching your books to your chest as you make your way to the library. Your head is bowed so as to look at the faces of your passing classmates. You do not want to meet their eyes. These girls, with their sensible braids and their sensible shoes, are merciless. You hunch your shoulders together in this dream of yours so as to not draw their attention. But alas, it is not enough. You stumble, clumsy thing that you are, and you fall. And just like that, all eyes are upon you. They are staring at you. They are laughing at you. You lay there on the ground by the fountain, your books scattered and your skirt in a woeful state of disarray. Your knee hurts. Is it bleeding? You examine your injured leg, trying not to cry, and as this transpires, you hear a voice. One of your classmates is calling out to you. She has acknowledged you. You look up shyly, tears beating in your eyes, at a girl taller than you are, and prettier and much more refined. Okay, thank you for the hydrate. Oh god. There's so much reading and so much talking. Thank you very much. She extends her hand towards you. Does she mean to help you? It cannot hurt to try, can it? Hesitantly, you reach out to accept her offered aid. Her fingers curl around yours tightly, perhaps too tightly. Her nails dig into your skin. It hurts. Deftly, the girl pulls you to your feet. Your legs feel weak from your fall, and your knee is still aching, still bleeding. You stumble, feeling out of sorts, but you are not afforded much of an opportunity to gather your bearings. The girl's hands are on your shoulders. She is laughing at you, then she is pushing you. The sound of the fountain and the running water which drums against its basin is, all of a sudden, very loud. It is overwhelming. It surrounds you. Then it engulfs you. It is cold as ice. You cannot breathe. The rushing of the water continues, echoing in your eardrums, over and over, and then... No, you do not want to remember this. What good will it do? It is in the past, where the past ought to remain. You guys want to go to the next page every time. That counts, right? And in your dreams, it is this determination which forces you back into the world of the waking with a start. You gasp like a fish as you sit upright, your eyes unnaturally wide. You feel wearied from a lack of sleep, and with half-lidded eyes, you glance about. It is still dark outside your cottage, the sky visible from beyond the window splash, still with stars. How long were you asleep? You are not sure. Your dream was so very detailed, it really did feel like that you had been transported into a different time, into a different place. When you inhale, you can taste rank, footed water in your mouth. Tentatively, you pat yourself down, your fingers trailing against the front of your uniform. So vivid was your dream, you half expect to find that your clothes are damp. That is not the case, however. You are, in fact, perfectly dry. Well, now what are you to do? Will you go back to sleep? That sounds like the best option available to you. You are very tired, but your senses feel too overwrought all of a sudden for sleep. You do not think you can bear it. On unsteady legs, you rise to your feet, then stand by the window. You look out to the starry sky and at the pitted moon which hangs amongst them, and you frown. You can hear the wind outdoors, howling like an injured animal, and more softly the ebb and flow of the waves as they meet the cliffs. But that is not all. What is that sound? Why, is it almost like singing? The voice is far away enough that you cannot pick out any individual words, nor even the individual syllables, but there is a haunting quality to it all. The singer, whoever they are, possess quite the pretty voice, high and clear like a bell. The song is a melancholy one, which stirs your heart. Curiosity takes roots inside you, as it did during the fateful day you had found that book in the library. Logically, you know you should not go outdoors to seek the source of that singing, but emotionally? That is another matter altogether. You really should have learned your lesson by now. You should know better than to go sticking your nose into business which does not concern you. But not a little girl such as yourself. Never do learn. You cross the old fisherman's cottage as though in a dream, then reach for the handle of the door. The handle depresses easily enough beneath your grasping fingers, and the door opens with a click. The rest of the world yawns before you, framed in the doorway, all of it bathed in moonlight. You thought it was cold inside the old cottage, but it is colder still now that the door is open. An unpleasant wind rushes forth to meet you, knifing mercilessly through the fabric of your uniform. You look across the cold, inhospitable landscape, your fingers clenched into fists at your sides. Then you step out into the unknown. You canvass the cliff face, led by nothing more than that luxurious singing. So haunting and ethereal is this voice. As it hangs on the breeze, it would be enough to send 1,000 ships off to war. You keep walking into the night until you reach the very edge of the cliffs, where they drop downwards into empty air. You ought not to go any further, but the voice has yet to cease. You can still hear it, echoing inside your head. It compels you to act. You look down at the shore, which seems like a dizzying distance away, then out to the ocean, which is breaking against the scattered rocks below. Your eyes narrow with determination. Then, take a step towards the cliff. These cliffs are steep, and the rocks below them are sharp. You can see them glinting in the darkness, their tips jagged like the teeth of hungry predators. The cold wind blows, rocking your hair, and you shudder from it. Your shoes were not built for scaling cliffs, and your heels do not have much in the way of purchase, particularly not when the cliffs are so steep. Clinging to the cliffs is no small feat. We are determined to ease yourself down onto the shore, in one piece preferably. The wind is so powerful, it feels as though there's something deliberately malicious to it. You wonder during your descent if it means to knock you off your perch on purpose, to cast you down to the rocks below. Well, if that is what it wants, then you refuse to give it the satisfaction. You can be awfully stubborn at times. Now is one of them. You continue to climb. How long have you been at it now? Until at long last your feet meet the shoreline below. You have made it, and you did not sustain too many injuries. Your palms are throbbing, yes, after gripping those rocks, and you might have a few cuts, but your wounds are of a shallow and superficial sort. Things could have been worse. You flex your fingers. These feel uncomfortably numb and cold alongside it. Your skin is prickling, but at least you can still feel discomfort. At least it is still attached to your bones, which it ought to be. Your vital organs concealed within the hollow cavity of your body. You have a lot to be thankful for. This night has, by and large, been quite successful. There are no longer any obstacles between you and the mysterious voice which lulled you outdoors. Now, you must find them. Set off down the shore on the hunt of the singing voice which has captivated you so. I have a mermaid siren vibe on this adventure. It seems so. Someone's singing, and it's very mysterious. You sidestep sharp, jagged rocks which jut out of the sand like teeth. The rocks which cannot be circumnavigated, meanwhile, you clamber over. All the while, the sound of the sea mingles with that of the singing. It provides an ethereal, haunting backdrop to your exploration, one which further adds to the surreality of your moonlight stroll. The waves lap against the shore, then recede shyly, pushed and pulled by the bleached white moon which hangs overhead. The oceans that you have seen in your library books were all blue as sapphires, but this ocean is different. It is so late at night, it looks black instead. The undulating surface of the water reminds you of a mirror, though its depths are even deeper and much more mysterious. A sense of foreboding settles upon you, but you try to quash it. You will not let yourself be afraid. Oh! Oh, it is a little mermaid! Or a siren, I don't know. But damn, but we... literally a magical creature. Under the sea. Under the sea. So earlier it was Aladdin, now it's the Little Mermaid. You round a corner, your feet unsteady in their sensible brown shoes. And then, at long last, you see her. There's a woman sitting upon a rock, out in the ocean. The woman's eyes are closed, her lips are parted, her expression soulful. She is singing. Her hair, which is fair, flutters around her face like a shroud, which adds to her otherworldly aura. Her eyes might be closed, or her lashes are long and luxuriant like a doll's. Her lips, meanwhile, which are parted in song, are soft, like the freshly plucked petals of a flower. Her face is perfect, as are her proportions. Her neck is tall and slender, like the stem of a flower. As for the lower half of her body, meanwhile, well, it is nothing like you have ever seen before. Pretty. It is here, and here alone, that the woman betrays your narrow human definitions of beauty, for her legs are non-existent. Rather than two awkward appendages, this woman has instead the sleek, shimmering tail of a fish. Is she not then a human? She cannot be, not with a tail like that. This unusual sight makes you gasp, and quite audibly at that. You do not mean to be rude, but you cannot help yourself. Humans tend to react poorly to things they do not understand. At least you do not scream. That would be even ruder. Oh my. You meant to observe the mermaid from a distance, but it would appear that your shocked gasp was loud enough to attract her attention. The fish-tailed vision sitting upon the rock is looking at you. Her gaze is so piercing, it feels almost as if she is looking through you. Your heart seems to stop inside your chest, as if by some manner of magical spell. You thought the mermaid pretty when you first observed her, sitting on that outcrop of rock, her face turned in profile. Now she's looking at you, however, you can see that you were mistaken. She is not just pretty, she is beautiful, so much so, it is almost unnerving. She looks as though she has stepped out of the pages of a picture book. She is simply too perfect to belong in this world. Perhaps she is some kind of vision, a waking dream, a hallucination. But no, she is none of those things. Her tail might be an impossible thing, but its scales look sleek and wet regardless, like those of any fish one might find at the market. These scales are iridescent, and bathed beneath the light of the moon, they seem to almost glow. The sight of her rather takes your breath away. You look at the mermaid. She looks back at you. You prepare yourself, expecting some sort of altercation, but the surprise soon fades from the mermaid's face. Her lips, which once were a person of frown, now shift upwards. He is smiling. No free to reveal. Redeem hydrate, thank you. I wonder if my voice sounds very hoarse right now. More like iridescent. Oh my god. Hey, she is a very, very pretty mermaid, okay? And you know, she doesn't have any feet or any ankles to show off, and she doesn't even have any like wrists to show off. Look, she's wearing something, but yeah. Other than that, though, she's still showing off more than just the goods. Then she says in a refined sort of a voice, My, it really is good to see a human again, particularly a human girl. I was beginning to fear that your kind had all disappeared, and I would no longer have anybody left to tell me of the world above the waters. My, this is quite the effusive greeting. The mermaid's introductory speech is positively brimming with the excitement of a sweet, girlish variety. She is rather more amicable than the fine polish of her syllables would make one suggest. You might be a well-bred lady yourself, with an accent to match, but you cannot help but feel overwhelmed. Anxiously, you observe the mermaid, and you ask her what she means. What happened? As to that, I am afraid I cannot say. I have been sitting on these rocks and singing for many, many nights, but nobody has come to see me. There have been no lovely humans for me to play with. I was beginning to wonder whether your kind had disappeared altogether. I feared some matter of calamity had occurred while I was slumbering beneath the water's surface, and your kind had been eradicated. You shudder, then reassure the mermaid to the contrary. You do not know about the humans that she used to speak with, but you, at least, have not been eradicated. You are still here. Yes, well, I can see that, the mermaid answered with a light laugh. It really is a relief. My fellow merpeople who live beneath the water told me not to worry so, but I could not help myself. I have always been fond of you humans. It was rather sobering, staying here night after night all on my own. One-chan voice. I don't know if I could ever do like an One-chan voice. I don't think that's me. Oh, the human got the plague. Yeah, probably the plague got to them. But yeah, I don't know if I could ever do like an One-chan voice. It gets so lonely here. Now that is an interesting turn of phrase. It catches you inside your head like a bird. Again, the title drop. It gets so lonely here. You just was? You just what? What do you mean? Did I do like an Onechan voice? Have you heard it before? Yes, we did hear it before. So, dear human, did you say that you are unfamiliar with these parts? Hesitantly, you examine the mermaid. Thoughtless though you might be at times, you are not so very self-centered that you cannot detect the note of longing in the mermaid's voice. It is evident as she looks at you that she is hoping for a particular answer to her query. This answer, alas, is not one that you can furnish her with. You do not want to lie to her. It is after some hesitation, therefore, that you reaffirm your earlier words, though this time you embellish them. She said the thing! She said the thing! You tell the mermaid that you are a traveler from a far-off land, one which is very dissimilar to this one. It is not a complete fabrication. You tell her that you have only just arrived by this shore, and you are unfamiliar both with your immediate surroundings and those further afield. If there is a village nearby, then you have never set foot in it. You do not know what this village is like, nor how many inhabitants it boasts. You do not know if a calamity, as the mermaid grimly supposed, has struck this land. But if she fears all the humans within the immediate vicinity have been laid low by some mysterious malady, then she needn't worry overly on that score. You are still alive. Are you not, you wonder, enough to satiate her curiosity with the human realm? Yes, that is true. You are here. I am grateful naturally for your company, although... Wistfully, the mermaid sighs. I was rather hoping you might be able to bring me some news of the nearby village and of its inhabitants. The village where the gravedigger lives? I wonder. Tell you traveled through time and was buried alive. I mean, I guess we are a traveler. This makes you wonder. Was there a particular person from this village she was close to? So, were you able to work that much out? The mermaid answers with a small smile. You are an intelligent one, aren't you? Your past professors would beg to differ on that score. You were always awful when it came to academics, mathematics in particular. You could never get your head around all of the numbers. Your stern, stony-faced maths professor used to despair in you. But she is not here. None of them are here. It's just you now, and the mermaid, and she does not need to know about your dismal academic record. You allow yourself a small smile, touched by her compliment, and tell that it was nothing more than a lucky guess. For a guess, it was remarkably accurate. You are quite right. I did have a close friend from the nearby village. She was very dear to me. Internally, you congratulate yourself on this piece of detective work. How very clever you are! There are many humans in this world, of that I know. The human who spoke with me, however, was special. She was my human. You do not fail to catch the possessive note in the mermaid's voice. And I cherished her dearly. She would come to me on my rock, late at night, when she was finished with her chores, and we would talk. I asked her a good number of questions about the human realm and about her customs. I fear my endless inquiries must have been rather tedious, but she was always happy to indulge me. She never once scorned me for my ignorance, and neither did she make me feel like a fool. She always made time for me, no matter how many demands she had on her time. She was a farmer's daughter, and she was awfully busy from dawn until dusk, threshing hay and taking the animals out to pasture. She told me of her work, and I marveled at her. Slender though she was, she possessed a truly tremendous amount of strength. I, who have lived in the ocean all of my life, cannot countenance working as hard as she did, but she bore her burdens without complaining. She was not the prettiest human who has walked the earth, but that mattered not to me. Her conversation was engaging, and I knew, through our continued encounters, that she meant no ill will. She did not have even a single drop of malice in her heart. The wistful manner in which the mermaid speaks of her friend makes you feel, for brief moments, a flicker of some ugly primordial emotion. Could it be jealousy? It is painful, isn't it, to hear others wax poetic about those they hold dear, particularly when you yourself have never been regarded in so intimate a manner. You have for many years been woefully alone, but you are not alone now. You are with the mermaid, and she is with you. And though she might prefer to be in the company of an industrious farmhand, if the farmhand is not here, where did she go? Oh, if only I knew. She quite simply disappeared one day, almost as if she had been whisked away by a wicked spirit. That seems like quite the anticlimactic ending for such a close friendship. Did the farmhand not tell her companion beforehand that she might one day disappear? No, she did not. Nothing of the sort happened. It was all very sudden. You asked, feeling affronted upon the mermaid's behalf. Did she not give you any warning? Not a single one. And you asked, did she disappear? I do not know, in truth. Time is a strange concept to beings such as myself, particularly as it seems to ebb and flow differently both above and below the surface. You humans have a strange compulsion to pin down and to place labels upon everything. You have names for your seasons, and for your months, and even for your days of the week. It is all very precise. We merfolk, however, do not bother with such affairs, because we live so much longer than you humans do. We have no need to obsessively document our days. No, and we have so many of them at our disposal. This curious remark catches your attention. How long exactly do mermaids live for? The mermaid does not look much older than you do, but you cannot help but wonder. My, nosy aren't we? The mermaid asks, and she laughs. A soft tinkling sound, like that of a bell, which makes you blush. Maybe they all got buried, including the farm, lol. I mean, probably buried in seawater this time around, instead of like dirt. Were you being nosy? Perhaps you were. You have always had a thirst for knowledge, not of the dry, dusty, academic variety, but of stories peopled with strange personas. Literature was the only subject you were ever any good at. Again, it is hard for me to quantify, but to put it in terms a human like you can understand, I suppose we mermaids can live for centuries. Centuries? That is quite the surprise. But perhaps it shouldn't be. You have been subjected to any number of surprises tonight. What is one more to add to the pile? I have not been waiting quite that long, however, for my friend to return to me. I think it has been but a few seasons. It might not sound like much, but never before have I been so aware of the passage of time. I have experienced any number of ones during my life, but I've never wanted anything quite as badly as I want to see her. I wish she would sit with me, and she would talk to me, just one more time. But perhaps I'm asking for an impossibility. I have been waiting for long enough now to presume that she will not be returning to me. I fear that something must have happened to her, or to her family, or perhaps to her whole village. You can hear the worry throbbing in the mermaid's voice, so potent that, for a few moments, you swear you can feel the depths of her sorrow within your own breast. Her sadness over this human girl is so a deep, dark thing, almost fathomless. You cannot let yourself indulge it for too long. Otherwise, you fear you might drown in it. Ruefully, you tell the mermaid once more that you cannot help her. You are only a traveler after all. What do you know of a single insignificant farmhand in a nearby village? Yes, I thought you might say that. It is quite unfortunate, but oh well. I ought not to reflect upon all that I am missing. That would be churlish of me. It would not be fair to you either. You did not approach me, I am sure, with the hope of hearing about all of my woes. I should be grateful instead for all it is that I do have. I still have my long, long life, which stretches before me like a golden cord. And of course, I have you now. Does she? Do I not? I have to go soon, before my absence is noticed. But will you not come and visit me again tomorrow night? I think I would like that. I've always enjoyed speaking to humans. You make me feel less alone. I cannot help but feel, as the mermaid observes you with these enchanting eyes of hers, that she does not truly wish to speak to you for your sake. She wants to use you, instead, as a substitute for the farmhand that she has been missing so very ardently. The thought stings, though you really ought to be used to it. Still, to be held in lower esteem than a farmhand, of all things. Oh, come on, are you really gonna be fucking pompous right now? We almost died from being buried alive, and you wanna make a pompous comment now? It makes your self-esteem sting. Ooh, being used. being used and abused by a mermaid of all things. You try not to let the mermaid notice this though. The woes of your past are not her fault, as much as the woes of her past are not yours. It is silly, in any case, to be jealous of a girl who might very well be dead. That is what you tell yourself, is the only way to prop up your bruised sense of self-worth. You would, you tell the mermaid after a pause, like to see her again. You would like that very much. Oh, thank you. I have been feeling very gloomy for quite some time, but seeing you has invigorated me. Finally, it feels as though I can smile again. Did she not smile, you wonder, after her friend disappeared? I did not, no. I did not have the heart. Without her, the world seemed very dull and drab. Your company has cheered me immensely. This is why I like humans so much. You're not callous and unfeeling, like the merfolk who live beneath the water's surface. I mean, you're kind of like the same as well. You're kind of just like using us for companionship, just because we're human and we exist. You're not any different, lady. You're much kinder than they are. Oh, if only she knew. If the mermaid was aware, I wonder of how petty you are. How jealous. Would she still care for you? Oh, that is neither here nor there. You agree to meet with the mermaid come sundown the following night. Then make your slow, stumbling way back up the cliffs, then to the cottage you have purloined as your own. Once indoors, you settle upon your pallet, and then you close your eyes. I mean, you have a place to sleep, but do you have any food, I mean? The sighing of the wind outside and the distant roiling of the waves against the rocks do not disturb you. You feel, after your midnight encounter with the marish kind, quite at ease, perhaps prematurely so. What happened to the icy fear which prompted your frantic flight through the forest? Or has all that gone? Do you not think that you're being a bit complacent? No? Oh well. You will. The following morning, when it arrives, is cloudy and overcast. It is not a particularly pleasant morning, but at least it is not raining. That is some small consolation. You rise from your straw pallet, stretching, then glance about the interior of the fisherman's cottage. It looked dilapidated last night, when much of it was obscured by the shadows, but looks even more so when the subject to the morning's light. The cottage's interior has the distinct, disquieting appearance of having been abandoned in a hurry. There's broken pottery strewn upon the ground, and the singular wooden chair, which once must have stood by the singular wooden table, is lying on the floor. The doors of the cupboards, meanwhile, are ajar, the shelves within depressingly bare. A quick search reveals a handful of edibles, but there's precious little to be getting on with. If you wish to live here comfortably, you will have to look into foraging. You ate very little last night, and your stomach is empty. It was the malcontented rumblings of your stomach, in actual fact, which roused you from your slumber. But your body seems to be very far away indeed, much like the grey clouds which choke the sky. You're not thinking of your own physical discomforts. You are dwelling, instead, upon the events of the night prior. You cannot help but think of the mermaid. Did you truly meet an aquatic maiden last night, during your nightly stroll, when you could not sleep? It sounds unreal, especially now that the sun has risen and the shadows from the night prior have dispersed. You cannot quite believe it. It must have been a dream. Why then can you recall it so very clearly? You help yourself to the scant food and drink available to you, all the while thinking of your next course of action. Now, what are you to do? You plan, of course, to return to the shore come nightfall, so that you might once again see the mermaid. But the night will not arrive for quite some time. You need to find some means of keeping yourself occupied until then. The uninspiring interior of the cottage does not furnish you with any particular ideas, so you decide to go for a walk. Your soul still aches after your exertions last night, but if you go slowly, you ought to be alright. That is what you hope, at least. You do not want to spend much longer than you have in the fisherman's cottage, no matter how cold it might be outdoors. It's almost as cold inside as it is out. And in any case, the cottage is far too small. You leave the cottage behind you and set off. You do not know where exactly you are going, but you suppose it does not matter overly much. You do not have any particular destination in mind. Your meanderings lead you to the cliffs, which are steep and sharp. drop to the shore is a perilous one, so much so that you have to wonder at how you were able to descend the cliffs the night prior to meet the mermaid. You are rather more determined than you ever realize. Okay, who honked me this time? Who the heck honked me this time? Like, god damn it. Aqua, I knew it was you. It's always you. But welcome back. How was the beach? We're at a beach now, actually. Though I, of course, could have told you that much. You are surprisingly capricious for such a small, slender human. You walk along the side of the cliffs, keeping a sensible distance away from the drop to the shore. It was good? Nice. You might have survived last night's excitement unscathed, but you do not fancy trying your luck. It would be so like you, really, to avoid a drop to your death in the darkness, only to stumble during the morning's light and take an irreversible tumble. Your fortunes have never been the fairest. Your meanderings along the cliff reveal to you all manner of curious flora. You thought, the night prior, that the cliffs were weather blasted. We can see now that your assumptions were incorrect. There are flowers here, very warm and bright, like the sun's light during the summertime. Or you think, with a blush of pleasure, the fair hair of the mermaid whom you are certain you spoke to last night. These flowers are so very like her hair, it is uncanny. You step towards the flowers, drawn towards them, and sit down to your knees. The tall grass brushes your ankles like a caress, the morning's dew wetting your skirt. Your clothes are getting damp, as are your legs, but you care not for this minor discomfort. You have just had an idea. Why not make a gift for your new friend? You're sure that she would appreciate it. Why would she not? She told you, in a voice which was steeped with dolor, that she had been feeling lonely. You want to see her again. And when you next see her, you would like to make her smile. It's with this thought in mind that you begin to pluck the flowers which are growing upon the cliffside. These flowers do not have any thorns, and their delicate stems snap in easily enough between your fingers. You take care in plucking these flowers to leave a substantial amount of stem intact. You will need these stems so that you might twine the flowers together. You mean to make for your mermaid a diadem, something she will be able to wear in her hair. This tiara is certain to suit her. She is so pretty, anything would suit her. Oh no. Oh no. There's something strange going on. She's suddenly like super obsessive and enamored. I think rather than a mermaid, I think she's more like a siren, and I think her song immediately like caught Protag. The dangerous siren song. A simp. Yeah, Protag became a simp. You continue to work, slow and steadfast, as the weak sun shines. It takes time, but you are eventually able to fashion you something you are satisfied with. You only hope the mermaid will feel similarly. I thought you were trying to look for food. If indeed she really does exist. Carefully, you pocket your makeshift diadem, then decide to forage for some food. Okay, now you forage. You discover during your search some fruit trees whose sweet burdens are enough to fortify your spirits, for the present at least. It is fortunate, really, that you are excited about your moonlight rendezvous with the mermaid. If you were less focused upon the future and dwelt more in the immediate present, you might have more of an appetite. The emptiness in your stomach assuaged, you return to the cottage, whereas you mean to wait for the setting of the sun. There's very little to do, you soon discover, in the cottage other than checking the cupboards and sweeping the floor. Occupations which both feel depressingly pointless. There are no books to read either, with which you might pass your idle hours. You do, however, busy yourself with trying to light a fire so that you might ward off the cold. The time is horribly slow in passing, in part because you have precious little to do, but also because you cannot stop thinking of the mermaid. Will she really return to the shore as she said she would? Can you truly trust her? I hope that you can. If she were not present at your designated meeting place, you think you would die from disappointment. Okay, you are getting way too clingy, way too fast. And I think partly it has something to do with the siren song. The seconds continue to trickle by, unchecked by any hourglass, and as they do, the sun sinks beneath the horizon. Part of you worries, however, that it might still be too early to search for the mermaid. Will she be there yet? You sit there, your stomach tied up in an anxious knots, and as you listen to the wind which buffets your windows, you hear it. The sound is faint, but you recall it well from the night before. There's a single solitary voice outdoors, tempest tossed amidst the roiling waves. The voice is a high, clear one, silvery, if indeed voices can have colors, like a finely polished dinner plate in a noble woman's home. The voice belongs, of course, to the mermaid. What else do you know with a voice as angelic as that? Relief begins to bubble up inside you, a relief so potent you feel dizzy from it. She did not abandon you after all. Missing a lot of context. Basically, we went through the village. We ended up dying after meeting the gravedigger girl. Whoever this narrator is, I think probably like turned back time, so we went all the way back to the beginning where we had the choice of where to go. Now we're at the shore where we ended up meeting a mermaid. And the mermaid, I don't know what's going on, but Protac is turning into like a huge fucking simp right now. She said that she wanted to see you. Did you think that a mere nicety? Buoyed as if by a gentle breeze, you hurry to the door. With trembling fingers, they are trembling, I presume, from excitement rather than fear, you seize the handle, then turn it. More confused after learning what's happening. Yeah, we are kind of confused as well. Then you step out into the dark, inky night. You walk towards the cliffs as you did the night prior, beneath the cover of the inky blue sky, the wind moaning fitfully with every step you take. Your soul still aches from your expedition the day prior, but you are able to ignore this discomfort. It seems irrelevant, really, when compared to the prospect of once again meeting the mermaid. You have known her for only one night, yet she has come to mean more to you than your own well-being. Okay, yeah. There is something going on with the mermaid song. There is something going on. Because our Protac is completely different. She's acting completely different. But I need to like change my position just a tiny bit. You would do anything for the mermaid if she asked it. Well, almost anything. That seems very weird. Did you stretch it? Okay, thank you. I will stretch it. Okay. Whew. Hydrate. Vocal music is back. Okay, I will hydrate. Thank you. There's so much reading. You hurry down the sharp incline of the cliffs, almost stumbling in your scuffed brown shoes, which really were not built with rock climbing in mind. So frantic are you in your attempts to once again make the mermaid's acquaintance, you very nearly fall. It is a good thing that you still have enough sense about you to regain your footing. Otherwise, this tale would come to a premature ending. Okay, I bet either she's gonna fall to her death eventually, or the mermaid's going to fucking murder her. Eventually, you make your way onto the shore, then approach the jagged outcrop of rock where you last saw the mermaid. Like the night prior, the mermaid is perched upon these rocks, her fair hair strewn about her shoulders. When she sees you from across the shore, she ceases her singing, and her eyes light up. Or at least, they seem to. So, you have returned to me, my hero, the mermaid says, and then lightly she giggles. Or perhaps I should say heroine. Her praise makes you blush. You do not feel worthy of it. Nobody has ever called you a heroine before. You do not even think of yourself as a heroine. If a story were made about you, you'd rather think of that you would be a supporting character, one without her own voice. You are not interesting enough. The mermaid seems to think that you are, though. She's staring at you delightedly, as though you are the one person in the world she most wishes to speak to. The thought makes you tremble, but not as much as the mermaid's gaze. You tell the mermaid that you do not think you are so very brave, but she dismisses your awkward remark with a laugh. I think you are. I saw the way you scaled those cliffs. I thought that was very heroic. Kill her? Why? Why would you kill her? I mean, I know she's a mermaid, but like, come on. You know, I've always wondered about like the existence of mermaids as well. Like I wanna, for me personally, while I'm a skeptic, I also do want to believe that there are mermaids out there. You know, like not just a lie. Like there has a lot of these myths. They have to come from somewhere, right? Like the idea of fairies, trolls, gnomes, reapers, all that stuff. These things have to have come from somewhere, right? So you know, it's the same with like mermaids or like sirens. I'm sure there are some stories, especially maybe if you like talk to sailors or something. She's evil. She seems a bit fishy. She seems very fishy. Oh, so she saw that, did she? Then, did she see how you slipped down the cliffs, grazing your palms in the process, and how you very nearly fell? You have never been the most graceful of girls, but to have your feelings exposed for a being as poisoned perfect as the mermaid, it stings a little bit. More in fact than the resultant grazes on your palms your clumsiness wrought you. Gnomes are real. They are the ones that steal the one sock from the dryer. How many socks have you lost so far? That's the real question. You told the mermaid that there was nothing so very heroic about all of that. You were simply excited, that is all, to see her again. You weren't thinking. Well, that makes two of us. I was excited to see you again. She was? Naturally. I had a very good time speaking to you last night. I had hoped that we might resume our correspondence. That is why I came to the rocks a bit earlier than usual. I was waiting for you. Did you hear my song? Yes, you reply with a nod of your head. You heard it all the way in the abandoned cottage. I called out to you. That was the general idea. I was singing for you. Oh man, she's coming in very strong compared to the last one. Like Gravedigger Girl was like, she was like, you know, like friendly but shy kind of thing. But this one's like, oh, she is really coming on to you. Like she is flirting hard. She was? You do not think that you are worthy of the mermaid song, but if she does not mind dedicating her voice to you, then... Well, who else would I dedicate my voice to? There is nobody else to hear me. That is a good point, you suppose. Shyly, you look back at the mermaid. You thank her for her song. It was very beautiful. Then tell her before you can lose your nerve that you have prepared a present for her too. Oh, have you really? You have. It is a small thing, nothing more than a silly trinket. But if it would not be too much of an imposition, then, with clumsy fingers, you reach into your pocket. For a few moments, you fret that your near fall down the cliff might have damaged the delicate chain nestled within it, but your worries are in vain. Oh, thank you. Oh, a raid. Oh, thank you for the raid. Oh, is now following. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Hi, welcome. How are you doing? Oh wait, oh, thank you for the raid. Thank you for the raid, Rococo. Hi, it's been a while. Oh my god, there's so many raids. I came with someone. Ah, I see. Were you guys like streaming together? You're looking at your... Yes, my model! I have an actual model now. For the birds. Oh, yeah, thank you, Rococo, for the raid. Thank you. Right, with... Oh, thank you for subscribing. Oh, yeah, welcome, readers. Hi. I'm Yugiri Otome. I'm a Lady in White Entity VTuber. Right now, we're playing a horror visual novel that has, like, some Yuri elements, I think. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Hello. Nice to meet all of you. We've been playing like for like a good while, honestly. Flee while you... What do you mean flee while you can? I haven't been doing anything. I haven't been doing anything bad. I've just been reading. What do you mean flee? What did I do? Spooky. But yeah, what were you guys doing? What were you guys playing? Did you have fun? How was your stream? Oh. Why are you bonking me? What did I do? And how many points do you have? Holy shit! But again, welcome everyone. Welcome. We were doing Temtem. Ooh, I've had. What is Temtem actually? I have been lurking in Rococo's stream, but I'm not sure what Temtem is actually. Too much points. Too much points. Holy, oh my god. But yeah, I hope you will enjoy this stay though, because I have been at this for like almost 3.5 hours now, and we're just only like halfway through this. The chain is surprisingly sturdy, given it was made with only a few flowers, and was held firm against the odds. You handle the chain with great care all the same, however, as you hold it out, presenting it for the mermaid's approbation. Yep, a cute Pokemon clone, I love it. Oh, it's a Pokemon clone. You know what? I have time. I can look it up. I can look it up. My soul has already left. This hollow husk is not worth saving. I'm loving your new. Thank you, thank you. I'm very happy. I finished it recently, and finally did like a model reveal on Twitch as well, and on my last stream. And I've been getting a lot of support, and I'm just very happy about it. And I'm just happy like finish my model now officially. But yeah, like I said, I think I might have like mentioned it to you before as well. That yes, I am very goth lolly. I'm very much goth Lolita. Let me look it up for a second. Ah, I see. Okay. Now I see. Yes, we are opposite. Yes. I am very goth Lolita. Even though I'm in white, I'm very goth Lolita. You're gothic. I'm classic. Oh yeah, you're classic. Your model has always been super cute though, and I love it. I've only been never like lurking in your streams though, so I'm sorry I never like said anything. It was for the mermaid that you fashioned this chain. You thought that it would look nice nestled in her hair. You were pleased with the chain when you first made it, but after looking at the mermaid, you have begun to reconsider. The mermaid's beauty is otherworldly, so much so it almost hurts to look at her. Your flower crown, by comparison, seems a very meager offering indeed. The longer you hold your gift out, the more unworthy it feels. You have half a mind, as the seconds elapse, to snatch your silly, wholly unworthy gift back from the mermaid before she can judge you too harshly. Save your progress. Okay, I will save my progress. There. Progress has been saved. Thank you very much. No worries. But yeah, I really hope you had fun on your stream. And again, thank you so much, both of you, for the raids. It really means a lot to me. I'm having more and more fun lately with streaming, so I don't know what I'm feeling really. I just know that I've been having more fun. The mermaid's lips curve upwards into a smile, and in a voice so full of gratitude it makes your heart throb, she says, "Oh my! Did you make this for me?" "Well, yes," you reply, still feeling a little flustered. "You saw these flowers earlier when you went for a walk, and they made you think of her. Not," you hasten to add, "that you think her beauty is comparable to these flowers. They are far inferior when contrasted with her good looks. You simply thought." You are unable to get the rest of the sentence out, however, because the mermaid interrupts you, not rudely, but with something resembling compassion. "I'm glad Roka suggested. Ah, right, I need to sadly sneak out and grab some food. Okay, I could catch you. You're welcome." I see. Yeah, go grab some food. Honestly, after I'm done streaming, I might also grab some food as well. Like, I ate before I streamed, but now I'm getting hungry again. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Again, thank you. "Perhaps she pities you. She must be able to hear how your voice is trembling. Can she also see the way your hands tremor? Oh dear. Faint heart never won the hand of a fair maiden, you know. What happened to all of your confidence? I think that your gift is a wonderful one. I did not at all expect it, but it really is pretty." You look at your feet, too shy to meet the mermaid's gaze. Then you say, very quietly, that you are glad that she thinks so, but she does not need to spare your ego. You have precious little of it left as it is. Your mermaid seems touched by your shyness. Perhaps she likes her prey to be self-conscious, because she smiles. I am not simply saying things to spare your ego. I'm not like that. Humans might spout platitudes as easily as they breathe air, but I do not compliment others unless I truly mean it. Hungry with power. Yes, I am very hungry for power. Give me power. I just saw your full model on Twitter. I love the hair, the eyes are so cool. Ah, thank you. I did put a lot of work into it, so I'm just happy that a lot of people have been really loving my model design. I was really worried when I first posted it, but now it's just like all I can say is just thank you to everyone who like coming in and following me here on Twitch and on Twitter as well, and just leaving like nice comments. It really has made me like really happy recently. Is that not the point of speech? To have an honest dialogue with one another? If one party in a conversation is withholding their true intentions, then conversation is impossible. Playing games is a waste of my time, particularly given my time above the surface is so very limited. Oh, you blush at this, more deeply still, and survey the mermaid beneath the full fringe of your eyelashes. Then, she really does like it? Did I not just say that? You humans are so very funny, with what with all of your second guessing. She was like that too in the beginning. She? My friend. The mermaid's answer is a simple one, but it makes her stomach clench regardless. Ah, yes, her friend. How could you have forgotten about her? She used to make me gifts too, you know. Gifts like this one. She would pick flowers in the cliffs over there where it cannot tread. The mermaid gestures with one hand to the cliffs, which tower above the shore, tall and imposing, as though to stab the sky above. Looks very good. Thank you. Do you appreciate the sassy comment too? I saw the sassy comments. Some of you guys are like very funny. Some of you guys are very, very funny. Very funny. So almost to the point I am gonna eat one of you guys one day. And she would fashion them into crowns like this one and bracelets. I was appreciative of her tokens, though she was similarly shy when first she presented them to me. She did not seem to think very much of her handiwork. You and her are remarkably similar, really. There's no guile in the mermaid's voice, but her words have rather taken the wind out of your sails. Of course, the cowherd gave the mermaid gifts. Why would she not? The mermaid is beautiful. She is so very beautiful, like a tutelary goddess. She seems to invite tribute simply by existing. Were you more religious, or more irreligious maybe? You might even consider worshipping her. Though, in essence, is that not what you were doing with your flower crown? How silly of you to think that your idea was an original one. My god, why is she so obsessed right now? She wasn't like this with the gravedigger. She, like, a protag was so much meaner with the gravedigger, but she's so, for some reason, she's just kissing the ground where, or like, I don't know, the waters where the mermaid is like sitting on. I might be accustomed to gifts, but it has been a long time since any human has bequeathed me with anything. This is a pleasant surprise. I am truly thankful for your kindness, dear one. The mermaid leans forward on her rock so as to pluck the circlet from your fingers. Her benevolent smile all the while is unwavering. And now that I look at your gift more closely, I rather think it is of a superior quality to the gifts my old friend once gave me. Sounds like a toxic relationship with the mermaid. Honestly, it sounds like a toxic relationship right now. What was going on? Again, I don't think she's a mermaid. I think she's a siren. There's something just odd about what's going on right now, and it's just leaving. It's making me feel like there's just something off right now about this mermaid. Now, this is enough to make you start. If the touch of the mermaid's fingers upon your own was not, could your silly gift really be better than those she once accepted? I think so. My friend's trinkets were all rather clumsy in execution, though I cherished them nonetheless. They were very precious to me. They did not last for very long, though, not when I took them with me to my home beneath the ocean. The water soon rent the fragile links between the flower stems asunder. Your diadem, however, seems more sturdy. but it is, by the same token, very delicate. You must be very good with your hands. You think back briefly on your disastrous sewing lessons in the past, of your numerous failed attempts to thread your needle while the other girls giggled at you, and you blush. You think the mermaid's praise might be a touch too effusive. You tell the mermaid as such, but she only laughs. I do not think so. Now. The mermaid places your floral trinket upon your head. Upon her head, over her long fair hair, then surveys you in a manner which seems almost coquettish. Oh, she put it on. She actually puts it on. Somehow I didn't expect that at all. I don't know why I thought that. What do you think? You think that the mermaid looks radiant, though that is less because of your gift and more because of her natural looks. I hope she's a Selkie. Oh god. A Selkie? You tell the mermaid this, though not in terms quite this glowing, and she giggles. You are selling yourself too short. I think your gift is lovely, really. The flowers rather match my hair. Yes, you answer with a nod of your head. That is why you picked those flowers. She is all you have been able to think of. I'm glad that you have been thinking of me. I, in truth, have been thinking of you, though I did not wish to say as much. No? No, it would be embarrassing to confess how much I have been looking forward to our reunion if you do not feel similarly. I do not care to pine for humans from afar. But if you care for me as I do you, then it makes me feel less alone. You hasten to assure the mermaid, your face aflame. Do you ever stop blushing? Goodness gracious, that you do care for her. Very much so. You have not known her for very long, but she has certainly made an impression upon you. She is such an easy conversationalist. The time simply slips by when you are together. And it does not hurt, of course, that she is so pretty. I have heard it said, yes, that my looks are rather appealing. My old friend was similarly complimentary. I cannot blame you humans for being so taken with me when my form is so very graceful. Oh, someone's very proud of herself. Jeez. Your legs seem rather cumbersome in comparison to my smooth, sleek tail. It must be so very depressing to lumber about on land as you do, living your days beneath the harsh sun and the cool, unfeeling moon. Sometimes I rather think I pity you. But the surface is a good deal brighter than it is beneath the ocean. I will grant you that much. You agree with the mermaid, still feeling flushed, that there are some perks to having legs, an agreement which makes the mermaid giggle. I am certain that there are, though. You cannot explore the ocean's depths as I can. I presume you have never tried it. You shake your head? No. Remember, she's hundreds of years old. She's a granny. I mean, there's like a story. There is a story of like, you know, if you eat a mermaid's meat, that, you know, you can become immortal. I don't know if it was the mermaid's meat or anything, but just something with mermaids is that if you eat something from them, you just end up becoming immortal. So that also could be a possibility with this one. You had never thought to do so, largely because you have never been so close to the sea before, not in all of your life. You did not have much opportunity for nautical exploration in the past. Ever heard of it? Yeah, it's a story. I think it was in Japan. Not too sure though. Eating a mermaid. There was something about eating mermaids or something like that. Like, apparently it just grants you immortality for some fucking reason. You were not allowed to go anywhere then, save to the local church. It was kind of lonely existence. Well now, that is a pity. You were kind enough to give me a gift fashioned from flowers which grow from where I cannot reach them, so perhaps I ought to return the favor. The favor? Yes, that is right. It would seem only fitting that I give to you something which can only be found in the ocean's depths. Perhaps you can look at it as a form of cultural exchange. Oh no, you protest, your eyes wide. You couldn't possibly put such a burden upon her. You did not give her a gift after all because you wanted to receive anything in return. Anything other than her friendship, that is. Her conversation is more than enough to satisfy you. You do not need any physical presence on top of that. Guess Otomi is getting sushi after the game. I mean, I already had sushi recently, so I'm good for now. The mermaid does not seem convinced, however, by your naysaying. She raises one eyebrow. Even this gesture is performed elegantly, then says, "If my company is all it takes to satisfy you, then you are easy to please indeed. But please, do not rebuff me. I am offering because I wish to do this. Remember what I said. I do not say things for the sake of it." Well, you murmur, if she really doesn't mind. Of course I do not mind. Now wait here. I will not be very long. It would be rude to abandon my new friend in the midst of a conversation. The mermaid turns her attention towards the clear mirror-like water, which shimmers beneath the moonlight. Then she dives. Her body arches elegantly through the air, her long, slender limbs cleaving through the surface of the water with nary a ripple. The mermaid's face is first submerged, then her torso, and at long last her tail. The water rushes forth to envelop her, as though it has been waiting for her. It subsumes her. It swallows her. Then she disappears from view. The mermaid is gone, but you're still there. Well, now what are you to do? There's nothing that can be done, you suppose, save waiting. You stand there for several moments, watching the black water lap against the shore. The breeze howls mournfully, like a wounded animal, as it buffets your hair about your surface, and your torn skirt around your leg. Time elapses, but how much of it? While you stand there, fretfully, feeling as ostentatious as a maypole. When will the mermaid return? Will she ever return? You're starting to worry. Is that all you do? When... Look, over there, by the rocks upon which the mermaid once sat, the water is rippling. It looks as though your new friend has returned. The mermaid pulls herself onto the rocks, using a surprising amount of upper body strength, and smiles at you. Okay, there is something with these characters and having upper body strength for some reason. I apologize for the wait. I hope I did not make you worry. You were worrying, but you're not half so honest as the mermaid. Mermaids might be spoken of as devious tricksters who lure sailors to their death, but they are, in actuality, very sincere. How do you know that? How would you know that? Most of mermaid myth is them basically murdering sailors in the sea. What kind of information do you have to confirm that mermaids are sincere? She could be very well tricking you into lowering your guard. Hell, you're not even acting normally now. What the fuck, Protag? Also, hold on, I need to charge my phone. But, okay, I'm back. But yeah, in what world? What world are they sincere? She's a mermaid. She's not even human. They're much more sincere than most humans. Oh god, fucking damn it. Perhaps that is why your kind fears them so. There are a few creatures who inhabit this world whose capacity for lying is greater than your own. You tell the mermaid that you are not worrying, and she answers with a wry smile. I'm not so sure about that. The mermaid is wilier than you are giving her credit for. She has seen straight through you. But no matter. It took me some time, but I was finally able to retrieve for you a gift. Simp. Total fucking simp, this Protag this time around. I do not have the means to turn this into a pretty piece of jewelry, as you did with the flowers, but I wish to give it to you nonetheless. I do hope that you like it. The mermaid leans forward, then holds her gift out towards you. Her slender fingers unfurl about it, like the petals of a flower being folded back in. Oh, what a pretty gift it is. The ocean might be dark and deep, cold and unfeeling, but the same cannot be said for the object which glitters upon the mermaid's palm. She has fished from the depths of water, a beautiful shell, one which simmers prismatic colors beneath the moon's light, much like the scales on her tail. Shell is so very pretty, it quite takes your breath away. You look at the shell worriedly, your teeth biting your lower lip. That is a bad habit, you know. You'll make yourself bleed. And ask the mermaid if this is really alright. Would a gift like this not be wasted on you? Of course not. I want you to have this shell because it makes me think of you. It does? How so? I thought it should be obvious. The shell is a lovely find. As are you. Gosh, she is She is literally flirting so hard right now. Like, no joke. Oh, did she just call you lovely? Surely you must have misheard her. You can scarcely believe it. It's an awful lot for you to take in. But now, why are you gawping at me like that? The wind will change, you know, and then your face will be stuck like that, which would be quite the shame. You would waste your good looks, which for a maiden such as yourself would be nothing short of a tragedy. It seems as though the mermaid really does think you are pretty after all. The mermaid, with her smooth skin and her fair hair, can scarcely believe it. There's something almost laughable about the mermaid's compliments. How could she call you pretty when her looks are so immediately, obviously superior? God, what? She is such a huge simp right now. Tongue-tied, you look at your feet. You do not know how to reply to the mermaid. You have half a mind to refute her words, to tell her that you are not that pretty. Not really, but you fear that might look rude. You do not want to rebuff the mermaid's well wishes. There is nothing for it then, but to take the shell which the mermaid retrieved from the ocean's depths for you. Thank you for the hydrate. It's been like almost 4 hours of me talking and reading. Oh god. I didn't think it would take this much reading though. Okay. There's nothing for it then, but to take the shell which the mermaid retrieved from the ocean's depths for you. You do not think that you are worthy of it, but neither do you want to refuse it. Now, that is a surprise, the mermaid says, amused as you reach for the shell. I did not think you would be bold enough to take it, not without more coaxing on my part. You have exceeded my expectations. What a good girl you are. Your heart flutters with this praise, and it flutters all the more when your trembling fingers brush against the mermaid's palm. She presses the shell into your skin, and your own fingers tighten about it. The shell is sharp and pointed, and it digs uncomfortably into your skin. It hurts, but there is pleasure in the pain. Oh god, she's a masochist now. The mermaid turned her into a masochist. This is happening right now. This too feels like a gift from the mermaid. You do not want to spurn it. Even pain can be a precious thing when dealt by one whom you care for. You just met her yesterday! You just met her yesterday, and you were so much more callous with the gravedigger than this. You never knew that before. You held the shell to your heart, which is beating an irregular rhythm, and look at the mermaid. Then very softly, you thank her. It is quite alright. It seems only fair after you share part of your world with me. I wish to share part of my world with you too. Humans cannot normally descend beneath the ocean's depths, and even if they do, they cannot remain there for very long. You are far too fragile. Would that I could, I would bring you with me to my underwater kingdom, where we might be together. The mermaid's melodic voice trails away, suffused with something resembling melancholia. She sighs. Then she shakes her head and smiles. But this will have to do, for the present. Please take good care of that shell. Look at it from time to time, and think of me. That would make me very happy indeed. God, is she gonna drag me eventually down into the ocean? Is that what's gonna happen? The days pass, following this nightly encounter with your aquatic acquaintance with an almost intolerable slowness. You endure the hours of sunlight as best as you can by going for long bracing walks amidst the heather, foraging for berries and fruits among the hedgerows. You even, when you have mustered up enough courage, take an old fishing line uncomforted in the fisherman's cottage and try your luck by the shore. Your initial attempts at angling are without success, but as time passes, your proficiency in the art grows. Sometime after you take up your rod, you find you are able to catch the odd fish here and there. Small, scrawny things, mostly, but the meat goes a ways to bolstering your rudimentary diet. You teach yourself how to remove the scales of these saltwater fish that you have captured and how to gut them. Okay, here's the thing with fishing though. It depends on the fish. Most fishes are edible. Some others are not. You should never eat random fish that of the species you do not know of. Please be sure of that. There are just some fishes that you cannot eat. You might end up somehow capturing a pufferfish, and we all know they are very, very, very highly poisonous. And if while they are edible to a degree, they should always be prepared by chefs that have a license to actually prepare pufferfish or a fugu. So again, always be careful. You learn too how to cook them over a simple fire. Sometimes you skewer this fish of yours on spikes and roast them slowly, innards and all. When did we get survival skills? You are able to sustain yourself well enough during the day, though the faint pangs of hunger you experience never quite go away. Your physical discomfort, however, is secondary when compared to your desire to visit the mermaid. Your days might be dull and drab, but your nights, comparatively, are made of magic. It's only during the night that the mermaid emerges from beneath the waves, and when she does, you hurry to her side. You have never before had anybody who took so great an interest in you, not until you met the mermaid. That is why she has grown to mean so very much to you. She is the first friend you have ever had. If you do not temper your obsession accordingly, I fear she may very well be your last. You care little for the potential danger, however, which lurks beneath your interactions with the mermaid. You want only to show the mermaid how much that you value her. And you hope within time that she will come to value you too. If you keep seeing her, surely she will stop thinking of her human friend whom she lost so suddenly. That is your plan, at least. Why are you suddenly so jealous? Fortunately, your self-serving wish to grow closer to the mermaid seems close to being granted. Your nightly conversations, when you greeted her, come easily enough, the words tumbling from your mouth like thread. You have grown rather comfortable in the mermaid's company, and she, yours. She must have, for it is not long after you bequeath your diadem of flowers to the mermaid that she looks at you, then posit a curious question. I was wondering, dear one, whether you mind indulging me? I know this might not seem like an appealing proposition, but I thought it might be remiss of me not to ask. I have seen some of your world, for I have sat on this shore for many, many nights hence, but you have seen nothing of mine. It seems unfair that I should know some of the world that you inhabit, while you know so little of mine, my own. So, would you care to come with me beneath the ocean's waves? This seems like a place that I need to save. There is so much that I wish to show you, sights that I cannot, I fear, be accurately represented in language alone. Words can be awfully stifling when it comes to communications of experiences such as this. It is quite the florid speech, but at the heart of it beats a simple enough request. The mermaid wishes to bring you beneath the ocean's surface so that she might show you her home. You are flattered initially that the mermaid wishes to show you something so personal, but after this flutter of flattery, there comes an uncomfortable sense of unease. The mermaid might feel at home beneath the water's surface, but what of you? You are a human girl with two awkward, ungainly legs. You were not made to live under the sea. You frown, and mistrustfully you look at the ocean. It is late at night, and as it is always when you speak to the mermaid, and the water does not look blue. It appears instead to be obsidian. The waves moan as they break against the rocks, which jut out of the shore like a mighty dragon's bones. They sound angry, violent almost. Salty sea spray arcs through the air, caught in the moonlight. It shimmers, sharp as knives. Hesitantly, take a step back. You are a little afraid of the sea. It is so restless, so deep, it's so all-consuming. It reminds you of a hungry monster. You have never submerged yourself beneath the ocean before. You never had the opportunity. You do not even know how to swim. You are fearful for your own safety, should you consent to dive beneath the undulating meniscus of the water. But do not look so frightened, dear one. I will be with you, and I will not let you go. You have my word. But how will you breathe? How are you going to breathe? Shyly, you glance at the mermaid. She is still perched upon her rock, her hands folded neatly upon her. Well, she does not have a lap. Not really. You are still afraid, but the mermaid's reassurance does help. Has she not told you numerous times that she is nothing if not honest? You trust her not to break her word. She will not leave you beneath the waves, abandoning you to a cruel, lonely fate to become the food of so many fish. Of that you are certain. How? How? That is why, despite all your misgivings, you find yourself nodding your head. If that is what she wants, then you will accompany her. You are interested, too, in what lies beneath the ocean's surface, out of sight. Oh, I knew you would agree. Thank you very much for humoring me. I will endeavor to make these next few moments the most memorable you have ever experienced. What, what is up? How are you today? Hello! Hello, how are you? Welcome to my stream. How are you doing? Yes, it is I, Yugiri Otome. And I'm doing good. I'm getting a bit hungry though, because it's been a while since I started streaming. But yeah, we're doing good. How are you doing? Now, would you care to come with me? I should be your guide. We are playing a visual novel. It is actually a horror game, despite how calm it seems. Mermaid extends her hand towards you, a hand which seems to cut through the moonlight, just like a blade. The moon's celestial rays plays against the mermaid's upturned palm so that it shimmers. The mermaid's hair too is glowing, backlit by Celine's glow, so that she looks almost like an angel. Her beauty is such that for a few moments you cannot do anything, neither step towards her nor back away. You feel frozen in place, rooted into the sand, like some shore-growing tree. I'm doing good, pretty good today so far. Thank you so much for asking. Yeah! It's good that you're doing good. And girls is a true horror. Then what am I then? Am I not a girl? You still do not understand why the mermaid has taken such an interest in you, but an old adage does not occur to you. You ought not to look a gift horse in the mouth, or ignore the pleas of a graceful, dignified mermaid. You reach out, your arm shaking like the skinny bow of an ancient tree, and find the mermaid's hands with your own. The mermaid's fingers curl upon your own. Her nails, only now you notice how sharp they are, digging into your skin. Oh, now you notice she has sharp nails, really? I don't think what? Then what am I? What am I if I'm not a girl? Oh. Okay, then please don't. Though the mermaid herself looks very soft, her grip is surprisingly strong. Do not think if she willed it, you would be able to get away from her. But why would you want to? She does not mean you any harm. Now, let us be on our way. There is so much to see in my underwater kingdom. I cannot wait to show it to you. The mermaid turns towards the ocean, as do you. A brief moment passes, wondering would you allow yourself to stand there, your hand claimed by the mermaid's as the wind buffets your hair and your skirts. You inhale deeply. The smell of the salt is heavy in the back of your nostrils, so much so you could choke on it. It is not a particularly pleasant smell, but you have grown accustomed to it after living in your tumble-down cottage by the shore. It is nostalgic almost. You have a vague feeling as you stand on the precipice between your world and that of your aquatic companions that you might never be able to smell the salt in the air like this. Oh, really? You have a vague feeling, huh? You have a vague feeling, huh? It's just a silly supposition, though. You're being foolish. The mermaid will return you back to the surface in due course, will she not? You hope that she will. You, unlike her, cannot breathe underwater. You open your mouth, meaning to ask the mermaid about the fact, but you are not afforded the opportunity to speak. The mermaid has already shifted, her fingers still twined upon yours. She dives forward, her body slicing through the surface of the water like a knife, and you, inexorably, are dragged along with her. Yeah! We get more CG! The water rushes forwards to meet you in a sudden, shocking rush. The mermaid's descent might be graceful, but yours is anything but. You do not know how to position your legs, and your limbs feel awfully ungainly. And the shock of the water as it touches your skin, meanwhile, is intense. You do not think that the water would be this cold. No, it is not just cold, it is freezing. You get so feisty. Yeah, because my chat is a fucking chaotic mess. That's where you asked what are you like, you were asking for the heavens for an answer. What do you mean I'm asking for the heavens? Then what? Really? What am I? What do people think of me then? I'm a cute anime ghost girl. What else am I supposed to be? It feels as though all the warmth has been sapped out of your skin. If your head was not already beneath the ocean's waves, you would gasp from it. You do not gasp, however. You cannot. You have already been submerged. Your body no longer feels as though it is your own. Your hair is unspooling behind you like thread, and your skirt is fluttering. Your body rocks to and fro as though being soothed in a mother's arms. It is a curious feeling, but it is not wholly unpleasant. If only it were not so cold down here beneath the ocean's depth, you might find it relaxing. It's dark under the surface of the water, yes. We have not ventured so very far, not yet at least, that the glow of the moon cannot penetrate its depths. Your surroundings are illuminated, though faintly, and thanks to this precious illumination, you can see the schools of fish swimming about you. Their scales all glisten as they arc through the waves like rainbows. We can see the eyes. We know your secret. Small gremlin. I am small gremlin, but come on. Come on, you guys. What is this? What is this slander? Is this for all the times I've been a gremlin in other people's places? Why is my chat like this? Why are you all so chaotic? And what do you mean you know my secret? What is my secret? They appear instead to your fairy tale adult mind to be ancient relics brought to life through some strange arcane sorcery. They are pretty. No, that word is not significant enough. They are beautiful. You did not know, as you stood upon the shore, how very full of life it was beneath the water's surface. You did not know either how very beautiful these aquatic denizens of the deep were. I've never seen fish like these before, not in real life. You have memories, vague, hazy memories, of dissecting a fish once in a particularly gruesome biology lesson. But that feels like a very long time ago now. You would far rather think on your present than dwell upon the past. But the seconds pass, and as they do, the mermaid continues to swim, leading you deeper and deeper into the ocean's depths. How long can you hold your breath? How long have you been swimming? How can you hold your breath for this long? Well, once you were close enough to the surface that the moon's light could still slice through the waves, now it is so very dark you can scarcely see. Your vision is beginning to blur. You can feel an uncomfortable pressure weighing down on your inert body. You have descended, you realize, with a ripple of anxiety. Too deep. You think it's too deep? Much love, just teasing. You're excused for now. You're excused for now. Won't lie, this game is a lot longer than I thought. Yeah. Surprisingly, this game is so much longer. I thought at most I would be spending an hour and a half, but now it's been like several hours later. Humans were not meant to descend to these depths. The water, once cold, now feels freezing. It caresses every inch of your exposed flesh as if to sap what little warmth you might still possess. Okay, we are gonna die. You shiver, and when you do, you swear that you can hear your teeth chattering despite the water which stops your ears. The water is stopping up your nostrils. There's so much water down here at the bottom of the ocean. It is endless. The mermaid might be able to breathe underwater, but we are not so very fortunate. Your body is far less sophisticated than hers, and it requires oxygen with which to furnish your body with continued strength, not salt water. She's just trying to bait us in so she can eat us. Yeah. You know what? Again, this mermaid is just so mysterious and suspicious. And our protagonist being so willing to do anything for her is just like, it's even crazier. The thought of trying to inhale the endless water which surrounds you makes you shudder. You would rather not attempt it. You do not have gills. When will the mermaid take you back to the surface? Surely she must know that you have fast begun to near your limit. You have been under the water for too long. It is too cold. It is so dark now. And in any event, you cannot see much of anything. The joy you once felt during your underwater adventure has begun to dissipate, just like the last of the oxygen you still possess. It's time to return to the surface now. But how are you to communicate this to the mermaid? You should have told her you can't breathe underwater. And I'm talking about the stream. What are you? I'm talking about the stream and not the game. What? None of you are safe, okay? None of you are safe. All you are gonna be eaten one day. And that day is coming soon. Don't you worry. I am gonna eat all of you one day. I swear to God. You cannot speak, and she is not looking at you. She's staring instead fixedly at something beyond your comprehension, something far away, perhaps in the underwater gloom that you cannot see. Not knowing what else to do, you try to pull your arm free from the mermaid's grasp. You hope that this will signal her that she has grown too carried away in her endeavors, that she ought to cut short your expedition and return you to the shore. The mermaid does not react, however, to your attempts to escape her. Her grip does not slacken, as you had hoped, from about your wrists. In fact, it is quite the opposite. You feel as though she is gripping you more tightly than she was, as if to prevent your escape. Well, why would she do that? Tap on the mermaid's shoulder to get her attention, a gesture which prompts her at last to turn. Her fair hair billows about her, suspended in the water like a shroud. Why are you looking at me like that? Then she says in that calm, measured, incredibly reasonable voice of hers, "Yes, dear one, what is it? If you could, you would open your mouth to reply to her, but alas, you are a human girl, not a fish, and you cannot speak underwater. Any attempt to do so would accomplish naught, save filling your pretty little mouth with water." The mermaid really ought to have considered that before she started to ask you questions, but your comfort seems to be the last thing on the mermaid's mind. She smiles at you gently, delicately, then says, "I understand. Being underwater for so long must be beginning to take its toll. Do your lungs feel like iron? Are they heavy?" Why are you asking that? So she does understand your woes. You might not be able to speak, suspended as you are in the dark, murky depths, but communication is not wholly impossible. You nod your head emphatically, hoping that this will be enough to make your distress apparent. But yes, that will happen. It is a natural part, or so I have heard of drowning. Not that I have ever had the opportunity to experience it for myself. I am incapable of, you see, of meeting my demise in such a manner. Now, what was that? What could she mean? I mean, the answers, can she read minds? That this was a calculated act upon my part. This mermaid's a fucking bitch! I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! Forgive me, dear one, but the moment you consented to sinking beneath the water with me, your fate was sealed. Your lungs will be flooded with water soon enough. Then you will die. It is not a pretty way to go. You needn't worry about your corpse bloating, disfiguring, or being eaten by fish, though. I will take very good care of it, I promise. In death, you will look lovely, almost angelic. Is that not what you always wanted? You do not know what the mermaid thinks it is exactly that you want, but you think that she is laboring under some severe misunderstandings. You would like to try and correct her. You do not want to die, but of course you cannot open your mouth. What a pity. Well, at least it saves me the effort of transcribing your dying pleas. I doubt they would be particularly interesting. If you want to know why I'm doing this, then I would not mind obliging. I have no secrets to keep from you. You keep talking as if we're not just gonna die mid-sentence of you explaining your little fucking murder plan right now. Pluck her eyes out? I fucking wish. Other than the secret, perhaps, that upon your first meeting she nursed within her cold fish's heart that the desire to bring about your watery murder? You might have liked to know that before you agreed to sink beneath the ocean surface with her. I'm only doing this because I have no choice. The other girl I liked, after all, the one whom I adored, had disappeared. She went away, and I was never again afforded the opportunity to see her. You remind me of that girl, though you do not look much alike. You do not act very alike either, but you said we did! But you are both humans who, despite your delicacies, have no shortage of determination. How your kind is able to live when your lifespans are so very short, and you are susceptible to so very many diseases is a mystery to me. Though my lifespan far eclipses your own, and I am far sturdier, I cannot help but marvel at the tenacity of you humans. I know that if I were as fragile as you are, you would not be able to exist in this world. I would not be able to exist in this world, I mean. I would be far too afraid. I would see my own death lurking behind every corner. Save your progress? Okay. Oh god damn it, that is the wrong one. Yeah, progress saved. Been lurking, how's it going? We are still at the mermaid. We're at the mermaid now. We're still going. We're still going. And I think we're gonna die again. That's what's happening right now. Just as you can see your own death looming before you, it is not so very far away now. You can feel it coming closer and closer, and closing its cold, icy fingers around your throat. You humans are incredible. I cannot help but respect you, weak and pitiful though you are. Multiple threats to eat us. I love mermaids. There's two things happening right now in my chat. She respects your tenacity so very much she wishes to extinguish it? That does not make very much sense. Perhaps my words are confusing you, but it makes perfect sense, to me at least. My beloved cowherd left me. I do not know where she went or what happened to her. Perhaps she was murdered by bandits. Perhaps she contracted a horrible disease. Perhaps she simply fell and cracked her skull. I do not know. I will never know. For many, many days and many, many nights, her disappearance tormented me. I could not help but wonder how it came about, but there were so many possibilities I could not imagine all of them. This thought terrified me. It still does. That is why I'm going to take you to my underwater kingdom with me. There, we can be together forever. Nothing will ever be able to tear us apart then. I will brush your hair, and I will dress you in the finest pearls found from the bottom of the seabed. It will be lovely. Much, much lovelier than any sort of miserable existence you might be able to eke out above the water. In my citadel, you will never be attacked by bandits, nor ravaged by diseases. You will be quite safe, I promise. Quite safe, yes. And quite dead too, surely. Well, yes, this is the only unfortunate aspect of my plan. She considers your death nothing more than a mere misfortune? Under the sea, protect your hair purity. I'm very sure I'm not a hair virgin anymore at this point. The mermaid might be surprisingly cold after all. Or perhaps you ought to have predicted this. She is part fish. Are fish not cold-blooded like lizards? You probably learned this at some point during biology class, but your lessons are beginning to feel very faint and far away now. Your body is beginning to fail you. You cannot take much more of this. It is a necessary sacrifice, though, if we are to be happy. I'm doing this, you know, for both our sakes. I do apologize for tricking you, but please try to understand. I really have been lonely. You've been more inclined to sympathize with her, perhaps, if her loneliness was not ushering in your inevitable demise. You're too preoccupied with your dwindling reserves of oxygen to feel much in the way of anything for your captor. You can feel the pressure of the water against your eyes. They are beginning to ache. Perhaps you are crying. You do not know. The water masks much of your anguish. You have been drifting underwater for almost 3 minutes. That is a remarkably long time to go without any air. Your vision is beginning to cloud. Your surroundings, already dark, look darker. Still unpleasant and obscure, not at all like the paradise the mermaid promised you. The pain of being suffocated slowly is far stronger and far more oppressive than the sensation of the mermaid's hand wound tightly about your arm. Is there no escape for you? Again, I'm just saving in places that I think might be where the choices will be. The prognosis, I'm sorry to say, is grim. Your fate, as the mermaid said, really was sealed the moment you met her, luxuriating on those rocks beneath the moonlight. But you'll forgive me if my sympathy is limited. You did bring this upon yourself, you know. Which is so. And in your case, you made a serious bad decision which led to your untimely demise. Okay, that is the line. That is the line. That is the line right there. Now what do you want to do? Will you accept this fate of yours and rest in peace? Or will you try to fight against it? We are not accepting our fate. We are gonna fight against our fate. Ah, I like that look on your face. It is a look full of determination. The self-same determination which first prompted me to take an interest in you. I can tell that you are not happy with this ending, but you did not come all this way. You did not come all of this way, after all, to drown. That's quite the indecorous demise, regardless of how many fine stones and shells the mermaid means to twine through your hair after your death. Narrator said the thing, time to drown faster. If you wish to carve out a new story for yourself, then I would be only too happy to indulge you. Just try not to get on the bad side, or good side of any homicidal naiads this time. The drownings of fair maidens is something of a cliche. The fate is once again in your hands. Now I wonder, which path will you take? Jesus, game, just write a book, for real! Go to the castle. So you want to go to the castle. Good idea. We're saving there, but I think this is a good place to stop for now. It has been 4.5 hours and I am good to stop here. I'm getting very, very hungry as well. It's been way too long.